really, really skate.
Right.
Like I can fake it, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of it is just upper body movement.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Got nothing to do with your feet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody be like, skate backwards. You be like, shit, that ain't happening. I give you this shoulder all day.
Right. Right.
I remember when I learned how to skate backwards.
Oh my God.
Hey, yo, I could have swore I just graduated high school.
Right.
Oh my God, son. I was like, look at that. Oh my God, y'all better watch out. And I only could do it from one side. I could turn around like where everybody else like they skate backwards. They going both. They can turn around on both legs.
Right.
I only can do it once. You know what I'm saying? But when they come, then you got people with whistles and everything.
Right.
Skating. And you be like, oh shit, let's get out of there. Wait, hold up. What are they doing that we ain't doing?
Right. Yeah, you always got that.
You really got to go to the skating rink like every day to be good.
Like
almost.
Yeah.
You know, like as much as you go to the gym and work out, yeah, you got to go to the skating rink that much to be that good.
Right.
I learned how to fake it, bro. Like flat out, fake it. What you baking this morning?
Oh, you know it, baby. That was before. Look, I done waked and baked, and now I'm eating the baked wrap and string beans and some other things, and I'm waking up again. Yeah, so I got my baked. Oh yeah, I can tell you must be in your car. You connected to your Bluetooth.
Yeah, I just got it.
I love it.
Wow, what I sound like? I sound like I'm in the jail somewhere.
Like you just became an astronaut, like in the right, like like in the last 15 seconds.
Man, this weather is bipolar, bro. Oh my goodness.
Right.
All weekend it's been 70, almost 70 degrees, and now it's 35 degrees. Like
randomly.
Keep teasing us with this weather, man. I don't know. I shouldn't have put these shorts on. I messed up. Is that my fault or everybody else's fault?
Right. Well, this the kind of weather where like you see people with like that confused outfit where you got on like shorts and like a long sleeve shirt with a long sleeve hoodie on top and a winter coat. Like, what are you preparing for? Yeah.
Hey man, the stuff that people used to come up with, the stuff that they used to put on in the wintertime just to stay warm but still be fashionably correct, per se, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be like, one of the worst looks that I've ever seen was the long johns underneath over shorts.
Yo, why did I know you was gonna say that?
I don't know if that's just a Baltimore thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that is the ugliest thing in the world because you know the long johns would be dingy and everything. And you'd be like, dude, you ain't even washed them. That's the reason why they underclothes. Supposed to be anyway.
Yeah, we gotta find out if that's just a Baltimore thing. I'm not sure, Shantanique, if you're there. I'm not sure where you're from, but are you from Baltimore? Are you in Baltimore? And if not, is that a Baltimore thing? Do you see that anywhere else or where you are?
I am from Michigan, and I'm sorry, I was looking at my paper. Well, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh, no problem.
See, that's a different kind of cold, bro.
Right.
That's like disrespectful cold. That'll make you like us. We're going like, man, we're going to Michigan. Going over to Detroit, man. Get off the plane, feel that wind. Like, yeah, let me get right back on this. I can't do this. I don't even, man. Y'all can cancel my show. I'm not even doing this one. I'm out of here.
Say I'm out of here right now.
Yeah. That wind, or did somebody just smack the shit out of me? Yo. Oh my God.
Yeah, the last time I've been to Michigan was Ironwood. I was in Ironwood and I got a chance to see Lake Superior, and That was fun, but yeah, it was definitely a different kind of cold than I was used to, for sure.
Yeah, our COVID's no joke. For sure.
Well, that's a beautiful, like, man. Detroit is a beautiful state for music, bro. Beautiful place.
Notice, right? You know what's funny? I remember the first. It's funny you said that, because I didn't. I studied, with the R&B, and Motown, all this kind of stuff, right? But it wasn't until, believe it or not, when I started playing gospel. Remember the Dietrich Haddon album with "Lift Up Your Heads" on it?
Yeah.
Like that was the first time I really paid attention to like that, at least that style, like coming out of Detroit, like the soulful flavor, the gospel flavor, the vibes, that I knew about. Like, but of course I was already infected with Detroit music before that.
Infected?
Yeah.
It sound like a disease.
Right.
Hey, man. So what you how was your weekend, bro?
Great, man. I had a good weekend, bro. The best thing for me, honestly, was getting back out there, kicking back into gear with the street serenades, man. I was down at Lake Montebello with my mother, and my mother sold 9 pictures in 2 bags. Yo, my mother done turned into a Hustle Simmons, of art.
She definitely hustling out there, like, for real. You want to know where to get the bags from, man?
Right.
Bags. Man, that's the what side of Montebello was you on?
Right at 33rd and Hill.
Right at 33rd and Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cause it's like, I don't know, COVID hit, man. It's like they didn't close down Montebello. Like, how you close the lake down?
Right.
Like, you can't even drive to the parking lot to walk around it or do anything. So now I know where you are the next time you won't be up there.
I'm gonna be there every Thursday. Every Thursday, 5 to 6:30 with my mother, and then I'm gonna do like how I like switch it up from week to week, where I might have like a duet, with like Michael Clarence, and then the next week Fruition. So I'm basically gonna switch it up from week to week, but it'll be every Thursday, 5 to 6:30, Lake Montebello, right at that same place, right there on the track too.
I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna come support you, but I'm definitely going use your platform and the way you're doing things. I'm just going to take me a microphone and an amp, and I'm just going to plug up and just stand in like front of Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever, and just start cracking on people, bro. Just start telling jokes right outside where there's a bunch of people.
Right. Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm telling
why
you.
not?
Yo, I'm telling you.
I might need security. Like, for real, I'm going to need security.
Right. Right. But somebody going to get a laugh in, though. I promise you that. Nah.
We want to fight, too.
Yeah, I'm about to say they might laugh when your ass be going to jail or whatever, but you'll get a laugh.
What did you say? You said what?
Oh, man.
I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
For my seasoning business, man, I had a great weekend.
Love it.
I think I sold probably about almost 300 units, man, just this weekend alone.
Wow, that's amazing, bro.
So that was real big for my business. So I hit the goal. I hit my goal that I was opportunity to get my seasoning in the supermarkets. I had to move or sell 1,000 units.
Okay.
Within a 3 months time, and that 3 month period will be over in 2.5 weeks.
That's what's
so
up.
I hit it before time. So man, I was grateful for this weekend, man.
That's amazing, bro.
If any of y'all ever had the experience my seasoning or my seafood, I thank you for your support. And if you want to experience it, just holler at your boy.
Yeah, it is. That's what's up, cuzzo. Well, we're about to hang out with Shantanique, chop it up, see how she's doing. Yes. Shantanique is our business product and service spotlight of today. Y'all know for everybody that's here and everybody that's hanging out over on the FB and the YT lands, Facebook and YouTube. We have a business product and service spotlight here every day. The goal is to highlight a person and what they do, what they bring through their service to the world and to the community. So, yep, we're about to chop it up. And Cuzzo, as always, hang around, bro. And we're going to keep this thing going.
Sure, man. Thanks a lot, brother.
Hey.
Appreciate it. I'll be hanging around.
No doubt.
Chantanique, good morning to you. Thanks, Eunice. Sabrina.
Good morning.
And I'm out.
Yeah. Yes, everybody. Much love and always good information, good flow. So with that, I'm going to jump right into it because, again, we're running behind time. I usually drop a few thoughts, a few things for you to think about as you go throughout your day today. And the reason why we're running behind time is because I love the improvisation and the flow that happened. What I did was, instead of putting this room on the calendar, I actually just created it right in the moment, right before it started. And what I noticed is because of the algorithm, I think it put it right at the top of the hallway. So there's like a flood of people that came in right away. So just trying different things. So had a great conversation with Natasha, great flow with everybody else that was here. And so we're going to keep this thing going. So with that, I'm going to say good morning to Chantanique. Good morning again, Chantanique. It's such a pleasure.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes. Yep. It's Chantanique.
Chantanique. Love it. Wow. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling really good. I always generally wake up and I'm in a meditative state and,
right.
Just excited for life.
Yes.
My mornings are always like really just kind of calm because my little ones, I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old and they haven't really got up yet.
Yeah.
So this is my time,
Yes. And I, as a parent myself, I know about that time. I know about taking advantage of those wee hours in the morning before everybody else wakes up. What are their names, if I might ask?
I have my 7-year-old is Malaya and my 2-year-old is Ayla. She's the one that'll come and bang on my door if I don't answer.
As 2-year-olds do. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
They're like, oh, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I can come in here and if I do this and make this noise and use my hand this way, that okay. Let the good times roll. Yeah.
Yes.
And you said it's Malaya. Is it Malaya, did you say?
Yep, Malaya. My 7-year-old. She's a little sweetie pie.
That's beautiful. Is there are there meanings to their names? Is that why you chose them, or are they just beautiful?
Malaya means strong and beautiful, and Ayla, I just allowed my mom to name her this time, so not as particular meaning.
Mom. What does your mom call her? Like, is she like her little, something like her little nick? How they?
Well, my mom, she has a middle name Sinai, and she's a Gemini, so. In that world, they have multiple different personalities, and so we call her Sinai.
My son is a Gemini, so I know.
Yeah, when she's being her mean self, we call her Sinai, her middle name. And when she's the nice one, we call her Ayla. So she has her moments, But I love her.
Welcome to Emotional Intelligence Parenting 101. You're already making the separation, so that way you can be like, let's see who are we talking to today. I love it. Oh my goodness, I love it. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I'm a parent too, and it's just raising kids is just one of those things. It's an exciting thing. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. As you're growing your child, you're growing yourself too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yes.
It's so wild. Because when I was younger, I used to think like, and I don't know if you felt this way. I'm not sure your age, and I will not ask.
I'm 29. It's cool.
I will not ask. No, I was kidding. I had this perception when I was younger that like 30-year-olds were just these adults that just had it figured all the hell out. And then 30 came and I was like, I'm still trying to figure some shit out, even though I've figured some shit out. Like, I'm still trying to. Then 35 came, and I was like, I'm still. Wait a minute. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
Perception. You see what perception will do to us?
My goodness.
Yeah, no, I'm 29, and I definitely feel you on that. It's like I just realized that every day, every moment, every age is a growing phase. You know, and we're never going to get there. We're going to always be learning and growing. And that's just what it is, you know?
That's just what it is. You know, you got these things like self-awareness, like self-regulation, right? Like social skills, like empathy, you know, like motivation. These components of emotional intelligence, these things that are growing all the time. Like, you can't outgrow emotional intelligence, you know? I'm gonna tell you what was my first eye-opening experience of like, oh, adults are just grown kids. Like, just continue to figure it out. So I'm 21 and I had the opportunity to go full-time as a musician, and it's a dream come true. You know, music started off for me as a hobby at 14. And by the time 18 came, I knew that I wanted it to be my professional career, and I had the opportunity to pursue it. So by the time 21 hit, that showed up and manifested in the form of a music job where I'd be playing the piano for $100 more a week than I was making at my auto parts job for 30 less hours a week, right? So I took that and I ran with it. So as I started that, I'm starting to work with quote unquote adults. And I'll keep saying quote unquote because that's what I learned. Like, oh, after this, I learned, oh, these just grown ass kids. So I'm working with, you know, adults, and a lot of adults with integrity and respect and, you know, all these things. They believe in me. And then some with some issues. So specifically, I'm a musician of a church, and I'm working with like the different boards. So someone came to me one day and said, we need you we're getting ready to have this special event, and we need you here for rehearsal. But they didn't ask me at all. They just told me what I was going to do. So I was like, oh, let me check on it. Let me see. Long story short, this adult went back and told the next higher up that I said I was not going to do anything, and that, I mean, she just went off the rails. Just lied on me, just pure lied on me.
Oh, wow.
And what blew my mind was she was over 55. And I was like, wait a minute. They still got time for that bullshit after 55? Are you serious? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Right. And what I learned that day, it was one of those things where, you know how you could be in like an imagination. It's nothing but literally the imagination. In my imagination, after this particular point, you don't have time for bullshit. You know, you want some mature shit, blah, blah, blah. And in that moment, I realized, like, wow. And then I started, because I happen to be fortunate because I was raised by an emotionally intelligent mom. So it allowed me to have these things like empathy and compassion and patience and all these kind of things. So I didn't go off the rails. I didn't get in my feelings. I just kind of looked deeper into the issue. I'm like, wow, what's going on here that she would have to do that? And what I learned from that point on was like, okay, so just because she's this age doesn't mean she doesn't deal with insecurities. It doesn't mean that she doesn't deal with fear. She doesn't deal with this idea of lack and all these things, you know? Mm-hmm. And so my perception was corrected. 2020 vision. And from that point on, this concept of emotional intelligence has been, you know, continually important for me. It's been important since I was a child. But I'm curious. I'm always curious about other people's journeys. Where did emotional intelligence become important for you?
Well, I do believe that, and I really love that story. You know, it's true. Like you figure it out as you go along. You know, and for me, the reason I got into mindset coaching and specialized is because of.
You said because of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I lived in emotions. You know, and I really but my emotions were bad. They were negative. They were sad. They were down, so I basically, but I always had this voice in my head that I would get to a better place in life. So that was kind of like always there, but I lived in the emotions. And back in 2016, I had graduated my business in psychology, and I was introduced to a class called cognitive psychology, which taught me about, neurons in the brain, and I started learning more about the brain.
Right.
And that kind of led to me reading a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And that book basically taught me that I can reprogram the way that I think. So I'm like, oh, okay, So like one thing kept leading to the next thing. So, a few years on that journey of understanding I can change the way I think, I got to I'm working on a master's program right now in psychology, but
nice.
Still wasn't it that kind of taught me. I was introduced to a speaker called Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he was the one that really taught me that you not only have to reprogram the way that you think with your thoughts, but you also have to change the way that you feel in your body. So over time, I started getting better with my emotions because I did change the way that I thought and my thinking method. But I also learned that, we respond to life, not just from our thoughts, but the way that we feel. So when I started to understand that I was not only responding to life based off of the way that I think, but my body, when I'm in an external environment and I see something that I don't like, my body will feel that feeling. You've ever experienced the feeling? I think we all have the feeling in our body where we have either a stomach ache or a headache or something's happening that helps us to understand something in our environment is affecting us, right? So I learned that I can catch on to what's happening within my body by the way that I feel. So what I started to do was whenever there were like negative situations, I would pay attention to the feelings in my body, and I would start using breathing exercises to calm those feelings down. And once I got a hold of using the breathing exercises to calm the feelings down, I started to dive deeper into, okay, why am I feeling this way in my body? And what that did was it introduced me to the thoughts I was thinking, right? So when you're feeling something in your body, it's because of a thought that triggered the feeling. So then I started asking myself, well, what are you thinking to cause you to feel this way? So this is like a process, right? This is an everyday process that I'm going through. So then I started thinking and figuring out, because you have the thinking voice and then you have the other voice. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's these thoughts that's causing me to feel this way in my body. So then I got a little bit deeper and I'm like, well, what's causing me to think these thoughts? Right. And then I'm like, oh, it's you in my external world causing me to think these thoughts. So then I'm like, okay, what can I do to live a happier life? Because that was really what it's about, I didn't want to feel the feelings anymore that wasn't helping me to become the best version of myself. So I realized that the things in my external world, which means the people around me, the TV shows I watch on YouTube, on the TV, wherever you can watch something, social media, I started to see how these things were affecting the way that I think and the way that I feel. And in order for me to become new, I had to start to look at my perceived world with a new set of eyes. Right? So this is my journey. I started to do these things, and what happened was, as I started to change the way that I feel by doing my breathing exercises, not reacting. So I developed emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence is the ability to understand your emotions, right? Allow your emotions to be the indicator, not to be the final say, not to be the controller, So what was happening to me before in my life was that my emotions had the final say. They decided what happened in my life. And then when I started to understand, my emotions are not here to decide. They're here to help you. Right? They're here to give me the indication, hey, something's going on that you don't like. You better fix it. So when I started understanding that, I'm like, oh, my emotions are my partners, right? They're here to help me. They're not here to take control of me. And it felt like that. And that's why I specialize in emotional intelligence, because I want people to know that emotions are there to work with you. They're not there to control you. They're not there to have the final say. And when you develop emotional intelligence, you will notice that your life becomes better. Your happiness, your peace, your joy, all those things come because too often we are reacting off of emotions, how someone made us feel or what we think they're making us feel, because it's all individual perspective. We live life based off of how we feel. Right. Anyways, that's my little rant for them. It's about my own life story. You know? Yes.
I love it. I love every bit of it. I have a, yeah, you're welcome. I have an original quote where I say that your process is more potent than your final product. And thank you. And, you know, your story is just, it echoes that over and over. And it echoes another statement of mine where I say serendipity plus intention equals life. The thing I look at with how it's all about how you have your relationship with your feelings, you know, the way that you redefine, the way that you look through a different lens, the way that you learn that your emotions were indicators instead of, like a friend of mine says, you know, your judge and your jury. You know, it's just, that's the path, you know, this is the life. When I first learned about this concept of Interreception, and for everybody out there that's hanging with us on all sides of the world, I want to actually read a little bit about this. When I learned about Interreception, which is a sense that provides information about the internal condition of our body, how our body is feeling on the inside. Interreception allows us to experience many body sensations, such as growling stomach, dry mouth, tense muscles, or racing heart. It's really just being able to check in to see what you're feeling and to not be the feeling, but to be able to separate yourself from the feeling. Yes. You know, it's contemporarily defined as the sense of the internal state of the body. This can be both conscious and non-conscious. It encompasses the brain's process of integrating signals relayed from the body into specific sub-regions like the brainstem, thalamus, insula, somatosensory, and anterior cingulate cortex, allowing for nuanced representation of the physiological state of the body. It's important for maintaining homeostatic conditions in the body and aiding in self-awareness. And the thing is, I always look at it like, I always give people this picture. I'm like, imagine that like command center, that control center that's like at some headquarters, you know, where you got this big campus, you got this, you know, maybe this big building or this huge group of buildings. And then in the middle somewhere or at some place, there's this small room where it's normally just a couple people and a bunch of screens, you know, and those screens can see every aspect of this campus. And the whole thing is inside this little space, even though it's not really. It's that control center. And so I think about that, you know, when it comes to our feelings, the brain, when it comes to this interoception thing, it's like this command center where you're able to check in with what's going on around the rest of the campus and be able to tend to it, you know, as like a security guard or as like, you know, just a doctor even, as opposed to being caught up in everything that's going on. So, yeah.
And I want to add to that too. Please do. My own personal experience with dealing with fear. Mm-hmm. So I think that too often the feeling of fear can be overwhelming. So what I learned on my journey was that before back in the past, whenever I felt the feelings of fear, I would kind of like just stop what I was doing, go back to what I, you know, was running from. Right. And I would just run away from it. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't, whatever that's going to bring, I'm good. But now I've learned to sit in the fear, right? Like when the feelings of fear come, I go in my office, I sit down, I write down the thoughts I'm thinking, the situations that I'm afraid of. Yes. And I say, what am I really afraid of? And I get down to the fear. Yes. And then you have to allow yourself to feel the fear, right? It's not run from it because every moment is a temporary moment. Yes. And when you understand that this moment will pass, it's okay. Yes. Just feel the feelings of fear. I started to become partners with my emotions. I'm like, hey, fear, what's up? Yes. You know, like, what's up? How you doing? Yes. And it's like, you don't want to. I appreciate what fear brought me because it allowed me to see the thoughts I was thinking maybe it was a person I was afraid of. It allowed me to ask, okay, why are you afraid of this person?
Yes.
But should they get out of your life because you're afraid? You know, like it started to help me understand what was going on within me, which then started to clarify my life. Right? So when you start to look at what's going on with you, because our life is a representation of who we are.
Yes.
The people you deal with, the things you watch, all of that. So the fear taught me that I didn't want this person in my life. I didn't want to do this career and that. So it was really working with me versus me running away from it. And as long as I was running away from it, the things kept reappearing because I never dealt with them. So it's to say, deal with your fears, you know, address your emotions, understand what they're trying to say to you. And I think that that's a powerful message, you know, when speaking about fear, because a lot of people deal with fear, you know.
Everybody, every single person. Listen, this is the thing that I love about it. I grew up in a background where the concept of fear was seen only in one light. And I knew that it was unrealistic even before I could articulate it. And now I can articulate it. You know, I grew up in an environment where the concept of fear was totally seen as a negative thing as opposed to a natural thing. Like literally the concept of fear, I always talk about it this way. You have fear that is the thing that helped us to be able to talk today because of the fact that when you have a sense and when that sense triggers a response, an immediate response from your body and adrenaline and the flow and all of that, the fight or flight sense.
The biochemical version.
Yeah, that shit got us from being eaten at one point. And then you have the other side, which is debilitating fear. That's when you have fear and there's no reason to fear because it's not on that level. But I first like to talk about it in this realistic way that fear is not a negative thing. And what we're really talking about is debilitating fear. Check this out. I have this thing I wrote called Accepting Fear. And it starts off first with a quote from Georgia O'Keeffe. I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing I wanted to do. And this is my quote. Many times having courage is more attainable than being fearless. Acknowledging and accepting the feeling of fear is the first key to investigating the feeling, which is the first key to alleviating and breaking up the grip of fear. Fear is an evolutionary survival tool. The point is to manage it so that you don't experience it when it doesn't serve you. And then
exactly. Yeah, you don't want to live in fight or flight, you know? And that's what happened. We're living in survival mode all the time because of fears that we're not addressing. It's like sit down, write down what you're afraid of, and be prepared to address fear. Sometimes I'm in my office and the fears come up and I'm talking to it. Listen, I'm not afraid no more. You can go ahead and come on. I'm not afraid. I'm going through with this no matter what. Because when what you want is more important than the fear, you have to keep going, you know? And that's what I learned. I'm like, you just have to keep going. The fear of, or the feeling of fear is only there because of either some subconscious program, right? So maybe you develop this fear because of what you've learned from your life experiences, right? Or you develop this fear because of your perception of what you think will happen, which more than likely probably won't happen, right? You know? So it's like, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? And then address it.
100%. I'm gonna I love this and I want to do a quick reset and say hello to everyone in the room. I want to say hello to Chrissy, Riza, Tanisha, Sanahada, Maria, Eunice, and Jason. We are hanging out right now. I'm hanging out with Shantanique, and Shantanique is our BPS spotlight today. And that's business product or service spotlight. If you don't know what that is, always do that between this 8 and 8:30 hour and go on longer than that when we have great conversations like this. What I want to say to everyone is, first of all, welcome to the AP Morning Show, where we stand here as accountability partners. I see you. I see you. I see you. And in a few minutes, I'm going to invite others up to be a part of the conversation. Right before we do, I'm going to actually chop it up with Shantanique about what she does as far as her business product or service and how can we connect with her. And then we're going to keep going with the conversation. But right before we do, this is how I love what you're saying, Shantanique. And I always love points of connection like this. So, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And so one of the things you said earlier was being okay with how you feel, like that acceptance. And yet again, another moment of serendipity and intention. I wrote this on December 7th, 2019. It's okay to feel this. Recognition isn't mindfulness. We can recognize something and still be averse to it. We can still be judgmental of it. We can still be averse to it. Mindfulness, a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. Saying it's okay to feel this allows us to balance the recognition with a genuine acceptance of what we're feeling and what is there. And so I just wanted to just say that, just for anybody who needed to just hear that, like literally saying that to yourself, it's okay to feel this, is the first key to self-awareness and the first key to actually alleviating whatever you're dealing with. So I love that. Shantanique, you made me think of that when you were saying what you were saying, you know? Powerful.
Yeah, you know, it's okay. It's a part. Feelings and emotions are a part of our life. You know, it's a part of, it's never going to leave us. So it's better to understand and identify them and learn how to manage our emotions.
Yes.
Versus, you know, ignoring them, reacting to them. I know reacting and responding are similar. However, you know, when you react, it's off of an instant, you know, something in your external environment. But when you respond, you have a moment to pause and to think. You know, you have a chance to pause, to think. And that was something back in the day, or back in my days when I was emotional, I hated when I would respond to someone or react to someone and I would say something I didn't want to say because I was either feeling some way that I didn't want to feel, and maybe I didn't say something that I really wanted to say. And it used to make me so mad because I would be thinking about it after, like, man, I wish I had said that. I wish I had said this. And I didn't, because of the fear or the feelings within me. But now, because I am consciously aware of how I feel,
yes,
you know, I'm able to pause for a moment and actually speak when I want to speak.
I love it.
Instead of allowing the emotions to speak. Yeah.
I love it. And I use those two terms too, reacting and responding. And the way I love how you said that, you're like, they're very similar. Here's how I like to say it to even show their separation. It's like you go from impulsively reacting to intentionally responding. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, impulsively reacting. That's correct. You know, reacting to things in your environment instead of reacting, you get to respond the way that you want to respond.
Yeah.
Like I said, the emotions are responding for you. And of course, it's different levels of subconscious programs within the brain, and so that's just a whole other level.
Right.
But I just recommend to anyone that's looking to manage their emotions or understand them better, to spend time with their self. Like literally go away in a room by yourself, sit down, write down what it is in your life that you do want, what it is that you don't want. Start really evaluating your life. Because I always like to live in the knowing that tomorrow's not promised, you know?
Right.
And yeah, that's the scary thing, but it's like I have to accept the truth.
Yes.
So that I can understand negative people, negative situations. I used to listen to R&B. I cannot listen to R&B anymore.
Same. Yeah, with you.
I used to listen to or watch certain TV shows. I
can't
watch
do it
certain
anymore.
TV shows.
Right.
I can't, because I see what is
right. Welcome
you know?
to my world. We have been living a duplicate life on opposite sides of the earth. Like, because that's the story of my life too. Yeah, once you know, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and it's just like, you know, you just go from there. Yeah. So I love what you're saying.
These things are triggering me. They're triggering my thoughts, which are then triggering the ways that I feel. And when you love yourself, you're like, no, thank you, I'm not doing that.
I love it. Tell me a little bit more about how you help women to develop emotional intelligence, as far as your service, you know, your business, your product, or your service.
Yeah, of course. So as far as in my business, right now I'm currently a mindset coach. I do speaking on my platforms and things because it's more important to just kind of speak. Right. But I have one-on-one coaching sessions where I do have a 5-phase process where we kind of break down. First, phase 1, a solid foundation. In order to make any change in your life, you have to know what's going to propel you forward. What are you doing it for, right? I'm doing it because of my life's purpose. I love my kids, things like that. So when times get hard, I look to that.
Yes.
Phase 2 is educate yourself. So we go through a phase of education, because a lack of knowledge, if you don't understand what emotional intelligence is, or if you don't understand your body or psychology, how are you going to know how to effectively change? Or, how are you going to know how to make a change and keep the change, right?
Yes, yes.
And then phase 3 is to kind of, get out there, get some practice, leap in practice. And then phase 4 is to evaluate yourself. So we go through a few phases, different phases of how to learn how to develop this platform or this foundation for your life, so that you can have something to hold on to and grab as you continue to change and, become whomever it is that you want to be in your life. So I just want to work with people so that they can actually have that stability. I'm not interested in working with people on how you can become the best business person or how you can make the most money. I don't really like all of those distractions. I feel like when we're the best self, that's really going to bring everything else in life.
Couldn't agree with you more. And how do we find out about your services? Where do we go? I know that we can click on your IG bio and that kind of thing, but where specifically do you like to direct people?
Yeah, becominginnerself.com. It has what I do on there. You can click through my website. If you click on the What We Do section, it'll kind of show you my services.
Yes.
And becominginnerself.com will show you everything about me. So that's the best place to go.
I absolutely love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Santanique, this has been great so far. There's some people that I know want to meet you. In fact, about to open up the stage for Maria. I see Maria wanting to come up, and I know she has something to say. Maria's a beautiful part of this AP family. And I want to first say that it's been amazing having this conversation. And I've been excited about this. By all means, continue to hang around for the convo as long as you like to be a part of even the convo. And, if you have to go, I understand that too. And I just wish you an amazing day. And it's been a pleasure so far.
Thank you.
100%. And we're going to definitely do this. And anybody if you like to come up the stage, you know how it is. Let me do a quick refresh. First of all, I want to say good morning to everyone, all my peoples, not only here hanging out in Clubhouse, but also on the FBs and the YTs of the world, Facebook and YouTube. If you like to hang out with me at Facebook, all you got to do is just come over to @AaronHillTV, @AaronHillTV. Same as in my bio. If you're on Clubhouse, you'll see me making silly faces and all that kind of good stuff. And I want to say good morning to Chris Young. What's going on, family? Chris, thanks for the audio check, bro. Really appreciate you. Yes. And I want to say hello again to Erica, Eunice, and Jason. If you like to come up to the stage, by all means, you can give a wave. You know how it goes. And if you don't, now you know. And if not, you want to continue to allow this to be your background radio show, then you can do that too. And so on that tip, say good morning to Maria. Good morning, Maria. As always, great to see you.
Good morning. It's always such an amazing pleasure to be in this room with all of you.
Yes,
I know that step into this room, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to be in an amazing conversation. So I walked into this room just in the tail end.
Yes.
But Shantanique, you are extraordinary at everything that's coming out. And absolutely, especially in these times with COVID, fear is definitely something that really stops us, right?
Yes.
And so I went and I gave you a follow, and I followed you on Instagram. I just want to acknowledge the fact that you were spreading love out there, and you are teaching women how to be with fear, because fear doesn't go away. But when you take it and you play with it,
right?
and you make it your playground, magic happens.
Yes.
Love it. Thank you, Maria.
You're so welcome. For me, something that I've noticed is the fact that we're so conditioned to have fear in life,
right?
That even when we're having joy, it's like we're waiting for something to go wrong. We're waiting for it to disappear. We're like, it's too good. It's going too perfect. And so, something is coming. And you know, that is this conditioning that we've grown up in when it comes to how we live our lives. I find that at times it's really powerful to check in if we're just being apprehensive, and if we're just making sure that we're prepared for anything challenging happening in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that robs us of actually being happy and enjoying the present moment as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to add that. And
I appreciate that. I definitely really appreciate that, Maria. And I understand what you're saying. It's funny because Shantanique made me think of something earlier when she talked about her disconnecting from TV and other media. And I remember in 2011, coming into 2012, what had happened to me. The last show I was hooked on at the end of 2011 was the show 24. And I hadn't been hooked on a show in a while. Happened to be watching that show. My partner at that time, she was like, let's watch the season premiere. It's about to drop 2012. I was like, all right, I'll be there. But I was on my computer studying some other things, probably some emotional intelligence and other shit. And so I missed that. And then at some point, I missed the whole season. And it was because things started changing with my mind. I'm in school for psychotherapy right now, but I've been studying psychotherapy and psychology for as long as I can imagine. I just didn't know that's what you called it. And so I say that to say that I realized at that point, I was like, these things don't serve me. I'm not entertained. And from that point on to today, I'm not entertained by watching people be destroyed or shot up or killed or drama and violence. Like, I'm not entertained by the things that I don't want to actually see happen in the real world. And it led me down a path of psychology of wondering why, like being like, wow, what makes us as human beings be attracted to those things? And I even posed it as a question. I was like, are we entertained by the things that we don't actually like to see? And I realized a few things. That was absolutely true. And it's why now I'm so sensitive that I can't really listen to certain things or watch certain things. And I'm a trained musician, so my ears hears intent real closely. It hears frequency real closely, like all this kind of thing. And so I started realizing, like, oh, these kind of programs, this kind of programming, what it does is it reinforces a false sense of security with us. We're comforted by seeing someone else go through trauma and pain and all that kind of stuff because it's not us. It makes us feel like, wow, we're a bit more safe. We're a bit more comforted, and so we're entertained by these things. And I was like, that makes no sense to me. So from that point on, it really changed. And I'm saying that to connect with you, Maria, and say that what happened from there for me was I was already allergic to fear-driven programming, but it made me even more sensitive to it. And so I'm like you, I can't drive in that direction. I have to remove anything that's instilling fear. You already don't know the next moment, don't know the next day. I see that and leaning into that as more acceptance, which brings me peace, actually. That's why I always say my religion is acceptance over expectation, because acceptance of that brings me peace. It is what it is. And the more I accept that, the more I'm at peace in that acceptance. But yeah, I just wanted to add that removing that fear as far as those other fear-based kind of programming is so important.
Can I say something
Please,
too to that as
by
well?
all means.
To Maria, and then I'm gonna get out of here before my little one starts screaming.
I want to hear a voice at least one time. Hey.
Right here. So I wanted to. I know exactly what she's talking about.
Right.
What you're talking about, because you're right there. What you're talking about, Maria, when you say, you're looking for that next moment. Like, wait, this is too good to be true. And that was definitely a place that I lived. When I was going through my reprogramming of myself and meditating, there was this time where I was living in positivity for like a long time, and I'm like, wait a minute. I had to I'm like, wait, is this real? It seemed like it was surreal.
Right.
And then I started to learn things like the laws of attraction, and
right.
I stepped into a new world, understanding that what the dominant energy that you become, that is what you attract. So if I'm dominantly positive energy, I'm going to attract that. So I can believe that the more positive I am, the more positive will come into my life. The more happy and peaceful I am, the more happy and peace will come into my life.
Yes.
So I started to understand, like, okay, well, this is what it is. And what that did was it allowed me to let go of that feeling that, well, something's going to happen. And I started to switch into something's going to happen to, well, something great's going to happen. If anything's going to happen, you know what I mean? So
yes.
I say keep going in the area of meditating and staying in that dominant vibration of positivity, because that's going to become who you are. So if you go from thinking to doing to being, that's Dr. Joe Dispenza, you will become positive energy, and it will not be a question or a doubt if that's what you're going to bring into your life. And when you get to that place where it's no question, no doubt, you know that you are fully reprogrammed to the new version of yourself, because we're working with the brain and we're working with the body and we're working with a whole universe of things. Right. So just become it, and then it will become your life experience. And I've experienced that personally. So I appreciate everybody.
Yes, Maria, did you want to say anything to that? That was beautiful.
I love everything that Shantanique just said, and it's so true. And I know, Shantanique, that you as a coach, I'm a coach as well, that, you know, we're always inviting women to step into this side of the world, this side of life, where we're no longer afraid of what's going to happen next.
Right.
And something catastrophic happening and expecting that, but we're actually living in to the point that both of you have made about the things that you've released out of your lives.
Yes.
I find myself in the exact same space.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that I'm discovering, so many different tools that allow me to go deeper within myself, to really get to know me at a deeper level, and experience life in a more profound way, that my soul doesn't have any space for all this other extra stuff. Like,
yes, Maria.
I used to watch all these shows, and now I can't.
Right.
Even,
me either.
I can't even sit for 5 minutes to watch something like that. All that my brain does is, oh my gosh, I could be reading this book. I can go back go to my human design. I can go read the Four Agreements. I can go listen to Joe Dispenza. I can go listen to Brainy Brown. What am I doing here?
And it's beautiful though, isn't it? It's beautiful. Like, I love my life. Like, I could be alone by myself, not say forever, because my soul's like, no, you gotta go meet these people, you know. But I love this life. I'm with you, Maria. I'm with you, Aaron. I'm with everybody. We deserve our happiness. We deserve our peace and our love. And let's be it, because when we walk in the market, people are gonna feel that. When we walk in the store, we are doing, by changing ourselves, we are impacting in the world that we don't even have to speak a word, and the world has changed. So say hello to everybody. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate you too, Shantanique. And again, such a pleasure. I always love having good conversation with good people, and I do this every day, Monday through Friday, for 3 whole hours. So I'm always here. And please kiss the babes on the forehead for me, as I always say. And it's a pleasure to meet you and connect you to the family. Okay. Yes. Right. Also going to do a quick reset. Also want to say hello again to Jason, to Eunice, Natalie. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope that you're enjoying. I just dropped you a DM just to say I hope you're enjoying the show on IG. And so I hope that you are. And Maria, of course, as always, it is such a pleasure, because we always connect in conversation and on these topics. And I actually want to read a little bit more even on this topic that we're on. And this is something, you know, Maria, you mentioned something, right? And it's always about this. Are you living on the side of fear and what can happen bad, or are you living on the side of a positive perspective of the possibilities, the positives that can happen? That's always the question. That's always the happening. And then the thing that's so interesting about it is that is always happening whether you realize it, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it's always happening. That's why it's important to be able to make it as conscious as possible, because of the fact that bringing it into awareness like that is what helps you to always know what's going on. I'm going to read this. This is something that I wrote that kind of works with this. Life is like a roller coaster. It just is what it is. The question is whether you're going to experience the ups, downs, twists, and turns with your hands up, screaming in exhilaration, or balled up, cringing in fear for the whole ride. It's your choice most times. And I say most times because I always have empathy for people who are out there who unfortunately aren't in as fortunate circumstances and situations as we are. It's something to think about. As a matter of fact, I want to see if I could find this pondering. Maria, I want to see if I can find this pondering that I wrote, and it's about New Thought theology and my take on it. I want to see if it resonates with you or what you think. These are a few thoughts. I'm going to pull this up. In the meantime, I'm going to let y'all enjoy about 30 seconds of this track. This is Societal Exchange, my original tune. That's wherever you already listen to music, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that good stuff. Aaron Hill, Societal Exchange is the name of this song. And I was inspired when I was out at the farmer's market. In fact, if you want to see that vlog, it's called Baltimore Farmer's Market, Aaron Hill. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go to my ponderings. Soon you all will see all these writings in my new app that I'm working hard on. It's called the 5M Experience, which if you're here on Sundays for the 5M Fellowship, then you know that that's music, movement, mindfulness, meditation, and mantra. Yes. All right, so here's one for you. What is life? Life is a collection of moments separated by experiences. Choosing consciously to deeply appreciate and experience the amazing moments is what makes it amazing. Where you intentionally place your focus will determine the lens through which you view life. I choose to fully accept not only the good moments, but the not so good. Keeping my attitude balanced helps me to appreciate the amazing moments even more. Be amazed but not surprised when beautiful moments happen in life, because life is filled with many things, including beautiful moments. All right, let's see here. All right, check this out. Okay, Maria, real quick. New Thought, right? You're familiar with New Thought, correct? Maria?
I think
New
is
Thought.
That what you sent me stuff about?
No, well, actually, I did talk about it there. I did talk about some of the things that I did there. Here's a thought. Check this out. All right. Let's see. So this was a part of those thoughts, but in essence, actually, I can't find the one that I wanted to read. Okay. I'll tell you what, since I can't find that one, let's just go with the one that I just read, because it relates even more to what you're saying. When I say life is a collection of moments separated by experiences, the thing I like about what you said, Maria, is that, there's two ways of looking at life. You can either be afraid of the bad that can happen or think about the possibilities of the good and learn to accept the not so good within it. And I really do think that as interesting as it is, it's such a small just change in perception. It really is a small change. It's literally a glass half full versus glass half empty kind of deal. You know what I mean? It's so interesting. It's so interesting. So, yeah, go ahead.
A key word that you've said in both of the beautiful writings that you just read is the word choice and choosing.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful key word, because we grew up thinking we don't have a choice.
Right.
We grew up thinking life happens to us.
Yes.
And that's why we react.
Yes.
Because we feel trapped. We feel like that's it. There's nothing I can do about it. And when we distinguish the fact that we have choice, in any situation, we still have choose.
Right.
We still have choice. We still can choose. And it reminds me of Nelson Mandela as a good example.
Yes,
he was imprisoned. So many things happened to him. And he had choice. And he chose to be powerful.
Right.
In spite of his circumstances. And then he chose love and forgiveness. For the people who imprisoned him.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter what shows up in our lives, we still have choice. And when we realize that and we actually exercise and start practicing having choice, it opens up that space of personal power.
Yeah, it really does. It's the reason why I like on a personal power note is why I like when we take our personal power and speak about this as much as possible. Because I often say it, for many people, the only way for you to know that you have a choice is to see somebody else making a choice. It's to see somebody else doing something intentional, which lets you know the possibilities and lets you know what's possible within you. You know what I mean? It's why I believe that living by example is the most amazing thing to do. It's the thing that makes all the difference in the world. Yes. Oh, wow. I want to say, this is beautiful. Okay, so they just show, I like this. This just happened in real time. Thank you, Natalie, for joining in the way that you just did. That was beautiful. I never saw that happen in real time. So, it really is just one of those things. And so I'm going to open up the stage again. If there's anybody who wants to come to the stage, by all means, you know what this is. And if you don't, this is just where we flow in conversation. And so there are a number of topics that we talk about over this time between 7:30 and 10:30 a.m. I play some music. I might even play the piano for you in a few minutes. I'm feeling a tune come out of me. I'm feeling a song come up. But we want to say good morning to Natalie. So good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. How are you, Aaron?
I am wonderful, Natalie. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you doing, ladies?
Yes. Maria, Natalie, Maria. And you got Sherry coming up. She's going to say good morning. Go ahead. I'm listening. First of all, let me say nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Natalie. Thank you so much. I hope you've been enjoying the experience so far. And it's just a pleasure. I just want to let you know that.
It has, Aaron. I just, I sat down on my couch, ready to do my work.
Yeah. And
I was scrolling because I schedule the times that I'm on Clubhouse because Clubhouse
can be very addictive.
So after being on Clubhouse for like maybe 3 weeks, I said we can't do this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna schedule our days. So today is one of my days that I'm allowing myself to be on Clubhouse.
Yes, good discipline.
And that's the whole day, just for a certain amount of time.
Right.
But as I was scrolling, what stood out is the title of this room. I think it's a room or group. Forgive me, Aaron. I'm still.
Oh, you're fine. No, you're fine.
But when I saw accountability partners, that stopped me. I'm like, I'm all about accountability partners.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm all about accountability partners is about something you were just speaking to a moment ago. I know in my life, when I don't live to my fullest, is because of all that's in my subconscious mind.
Yes.
And my subconscious mind is filled with all the rules and regulations and who I was told or shown when I was younger.
Right.
So even though I have evolved so much in my life, so far away from that broken little girl, she's still inside of me because she pops up when I'm always trying to go to that next level. I know how to take care of her now.
Yes.
So because I know that, and I'm always trying to strive to be where God wants me to be, I have to make sure that I have accountability partners when I tell myself I'm not capable, they're not going to accept me, and I don't belong.
Yes.
Because because of what's in my subconscious mind. And no matter how motivated I am, and there's a lot of times that I am motivated,
right.
I clearly know that motivation is not going to last long. So I got to strategically set up my life to fight back my subconscious needs with my accountability partners.
Yes.
So I just, you know, so many things in this short time resonated with me from what you were saying this short period of time. And I was like, I like this.
Wow.
And I'm definitely going to plan on following you, Aaron, because this is me.
Yeah, I love it.
This is what I'm all about. This is the reason why I became becoming a speaker as I transition out of my counseling career.
Right.
Over the last 29 years. So yeah, I just wanted to jump in and say that.
Yes.
Let me add this too. I have two daughters, and they're 11 years apart, and I raised them like they were only children, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the three of us, we're like think tanks when it comes in my house. My oldest daughter doesn't live with me because she has her own family. Mm-hmm. My baby lives with me. So any given time, I could let me give you an example, and I'm gonna shut my mouth.
You're fine.
This is my level. I'm on my level, right? So I could be at work, Aaron, ladies, right?
Yeah.
Because we each other accountability partners.
Yes,
Yeah, work. This is my daughter. What you working on? What you working on today? So 8 o'clock, we're gonna meet either virtually or not, so we can share what you worked on today.
Yeah.
They're my accountability partners. Because they know the importance of. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
I love that.
Thank you for creating a space for people like me. Thank you.
Yes. Let me tell you something, Natalie. Thank you. And, you know, man, I thank you because, you know, I have a quote where I say sometimes hearing a person's voice makes all the difference in the world. And I want to say that because in our first time speaking, in my first time hearing your voice, it's a pleasure because you didn't have to. And I love that what you just expressed. I'm high-fiving you all over the place because I'm totally with you on accountability. Kudos to you, especially with how you're setting an example and how now you've created accountability partners out of your family, even doing that. And that's so beautiful. And I also want to say that, you know, this space was exactly created for that. It's just like you said, and I want to welcome you to the family. On December 15th, I started this room to be accountable to myself and then to be accountable to others in the same way. So your words literally duplicate. And I say it at least once a day here, how that has unfolded. So you're right. You're right here. You have definitely met the right tribe. And I want to introduce you to Sherry and Maria. And you're also going to see some other family come through here. But that's what this is about. And every day, that's what we do. We stand in accountability. I always check in to see what's, you know, if you have any personal goals that we can stand in accountability on. And then we talk about things like emotional intelligence and mindfulness and, you know, happiness in life and just all these beautiful things. So I just want to say thank you again. And yeah, we are happy to have you. Sherry, Natalie, Sherry, wanted to say good morning to you all.
Good morning, Natalie. It's a pleasure to hear you and meet you.
Yes.
Good morning to you, Sherry.
Yes.
Natalie, I was reading your bio. It's amazing. If you get a moment, or when you get a moment, if you would shoot me a message in my DM on Instagram, I'd love to connect with you and learn more about you. And or if you have a website, you can drop that in as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And one other thing I want to tell you too, Natalie, that you're going to really be excited about is that there are a number of beautiful people in this family that share the same interests and the same passion and the same line of work you do. And so I can't wait for you to meet everyone. So they'll be in shortly. If you're able to hang around, or if you are hanging around for a few, by all means, love for you to continue to be a part of this conversation. And again, it's just such a pleasure to meet you this morning. Yes. And I want, yes.
You know what? It's funny. Our girl Marcy just popped in the room.
Marcy.
Everybody in the room, Cindy, BT, Marcy.
Yes.
But just in the few minutes that I've been here listening to Natalie, her vibe and her energy reminded me so much.
I was just thinking that. That's so crazy. I was literally just thinking that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, she reminds me of Marcy, man. So serendipity, as you always say.
Right.
Nice to see the two of them in the room.
Yes.
Marcy and Natalie, y'all need to connect somehow, or just get to know each other here in the room, because I think they would vibe.
For sure. And speaking of which, we want to also say hello to Constantine, and yes, our good friend Marcy, and of course the good brother T. If you all would like to come to the stage, you know how it is. The main goal is to say, hey, is to check in as accountability partners, just see how you're doing, say hello to your beautiful face, see how, you know, your weekend was and that kind of thing. And if not, if you're taking over the world but from behind your desk or your Zoom meeting and all that kind of good stuff, then yeah, you could do that too. Looks like Marcy's coming up. Marcy, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to finally hear your voices again.
Yes.
I missed you guys terribly. Oh my goodness.
We miss you too, Marcy.
I have been working.
Right.
And it's unbelievable.
Right.
Like my hours have changed just a little bit.
Right.
It's still 8:30.
Still 8:30. Don't get it twisted now.
It's still 8:30. But they had me in the 8:30 meeting. And then I've got new hires at 9:30, and I'm just like, I do need to prepare for this.
Right, at least.
And they're like, no, go ahead and jump into the meeting. Everything will be good. And I'm like, oh, I was trying to get out of it, but I can't.
Oh my goodness, Marcy, I know exactly what you're saying. You know what's funny, Marcy? Every time I hear you explain something about your job, right, the way you explain it is almost like, don't they understand, like these other things, like don't they understand how important it is to see my friends in the morning on the AP morning show? Don't they know how important it is that before 8:30, I don't want to hear jack shit about a meeting, about it. You literally need like an auto text that's like still 8:30, like that's it, like just in case you forgot, it's still 8:30, or don't call me before that. Oh my goodness, Marcy.
It's like they have no respect, and I'm teaching them. They're still going through the learning process, because now they understand 8:30 is when everything gets turned on.
Yeah.
And I'm not responding prior to 8:30 a.m.
Right.
But it's okay.
Right.
They are learning. I need my work-life balance. I need my AP morning show.
Yes.
And like last week, I was in and out. And I'm just like, wow, I haven't even been able to listen to a lot of the featured speakers that you've had. And it's like, wow, can I tap replay somewhere? Like, where am I going to get this from? Because I'm missing all of these nuggets, you know?
I totally understand. And first thing I want to also say, I'm glad that you asked that too, because it's really good FYI. Now, I started off this room today by, instead of scheduling it, I just put it right up right before or I just started the room because I wanted to, testing out some things, algorithm, blah, blah, blah. It equaled a whole bunch of people jumping in the room at the beginning. But I'm saying that to say that for what you all would normally see in the description is that we're also over here on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So if you miss any show, all you got to do is go to my YouTube channel at Aaron Hill TV. There's a playlist there that's called the AP Morning Show. It has at least 48 episodes of this experience here, there. Check it out. We've had some blazing conversations. And so, yeah, that's there. And then also, if you're hanging with me on FB, but it's easiest over on YouTube because there's a playlist that automatically goes there. And yeah, Marcy, it's good to hear your voice. And Marcy, I want to introduce you to Natalie. Yeah. Natalie, Marcy, Natalie.
Hello, Natalie. I just sent you a message on IG. I saw you responded.
Woo-woo. Yes. Such goodness.
Yes, nice to meet you as well, Marcy. Looking forward to hearing what else you have to say in this room.
Yes.
Yes.
Marcy, OMG. Okay, so Marcy, you got to tell me, how are you doing? How's, the Mr., as they would say, Mrs., how's the Mr., and how's your family? How's life?
Well, everybody's doing great. My grandson has celebrated his second birthday.
Whoop, whoop.
And we traveled last weekend for his birthday party.
Nice.
And we were hoping that they would come home with us and spend a week with us here in Georgia, but that didn't happen. So I'm really sad about that.
Okay.
But life goes on because I'm really not into little people that much. You get cute, do something bad.
and I'm the spanker. So yes, I will spank you. So everybody's doing well. Hubby's doing well. He's driving me crazy, and
that's hubby's doing good.
He did hide my mug.
Oh, whoa! Wait!
Yes,
I gotta cut the music for this. We interrupt this for a special report. What the fuck?
That's hilarious. He is a hater.
Oh God. Oh no. Okay.
He's a hater. And I have to get the right mug for him.
Gotcha.
Because he's got. Are you joking right now? You're serious?
Oh, she's that serious.
Very. Oh my God. I mean, if you could have saw his face as he recorded.
Oh.
You know what I did?
The audacity.
He was like, wait, what? And it's got words too? Oh. Why did you get a revealing mug though? Why did you get one? Does everybody else get one? And
right.
I said, whoa.
Right.
Calm down. He said, well, until I get one, it's gonna be
problems. Oh, he done started a war. He done started something.
Don't play with my mug.
I love it.
Don't play with my mug. And he knows how much I like to drink tea.
Right.
So it just made it worse. I was so confused.
Right.
And I was just like, where's my
mug? Where's my mug, yo? You know what?
So he already knows. No dishwasher, no nothing. And I said, well, he picked it up. He put it somewhere. Yes, he did. Now, he only moved it from one cabinet to another, but that was enough.
But that's enough. Shit.
Listen. Now I'm banging cabinets. The doors are about to be off the hinges. I was banging so bad. And I'm just like, I'm walking around in circles in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And my daughter's standing there. She said, what's wrong with you? I said, my mug. Did you take my mug?
Right.
She looked at me. She said, what are you talking about? Why would I take your mug? You already told us don't touch it. I said, oh, I know what this is. I know what this is.
Oh
this
my God.
Is hate.
Right.
This is hate. It was dreadful. And I just sat there. I said, all right, calm down.
Right.
Boil the water, and as it boils,
right.
And as the water started to really bubble, I got worse and worse in how I felt, and I was like, "That's it." I sent him to the store. I found my mug and had my tea, but I sent him to the store and went up into the man cave and commenced to just tearing things
there you
up.
Go.
I just went right on up there. I hit the TV remote. I took one battery out of
one battery.
Controller.
Yes.
I am so petty.
Yo, let me tell you. Yo, that's funny. Go ahead, Marcy.
He did me in. He really did me in. I said he's gonna learn not to do that to me again.
OMG, this is so hilarious. Okay, let me do a quick reset, especially for Natalie and Constantine and those that might not know the context. This is hilarious. So, okay, this is not just any mug. Let me explain to you all what this is, right? So, I happen to be fortunate to start my sentiment series, the Aaron Hill sentiment series, where I just have different little things that are for you. They're my thoughts to you, some of the thoughts that you all hear me share here. So about a month or so ago, I came out with my first series of revealing mugs. What is a revealing mug? As I always say, I'm so glad you silently asked. So all you got to do is hop over to my Instagram bio. And when you click on my IG bio, you're going to see a video of me acting a damn fool because I got my mug in the mail. It's the first of the Aaron Hill Revealing Mug series, where there's a message on there, and the only way you see it is if you pour in your favorite beverage, your favorite hot beverage. And so, yeah, so we got a little bit of a duel going on because, Marcy's husband is trying to, he's trying to be sneaky. Instead of getting his own damn mug, he just want to take hers. Yeah, Marcy, we're gonna have to get this brother a mug fast. I'm gonna have to get him the second edition so that way,
yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's so good. And Marcy, as always, oh my gosh, it's so good to hear your voice. So good to hear your voice, Marcy. Oh,
I'm glad to be here as well. I got like 7 minutes before I have my new hire orientation.
No doubt.
I got like 15 new hires. So I'm going to hang out till 9:30.
Sweet. Well, this is great, Marcy, because right before you head out, we're going to chop it up with Sherry, and we're going to talk about a few of these updates on Monday for everybody. On Monday here on the AP Morning Show, with our segment with Sherry, around this time. Well, it's earlier than this usually. We're having some fun and conversation, so we flowed a bit. But each day we talk about something different. And today on Mondays, we talk about the Clubhouse Town Hall. We give you a recap. You can know what are the latest updates that you now are able to use, the latest features in this app, as well as the highlights. It's always so many amazing testimonials that happen every week. Like if y'all don't hear the news of Clubhouse every Sunday, 12 Eastern Standard Time, you're missing out, because oh my goodness, it's some life-changing stuff. It's headline news. So with that, everybody, let's say good morning again to Sherry as we go into our segment with Sherry. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. What's happening, everybody?
Yes. What's happening? Sherry, how are you doing?
Just cut off. I'm sorry. Someone was saying good morning and I cut them off.
Oh, I think that was Maria. Say good morning to you.
Hey, Maria.
Good morning, beautiful soul. It's so lovely to hear you.
You as well.
Yes. Sherry, what's happening?
What's happening? Aaron Hill.
Yes.
Hey, Aaron Hill.
How's your morning going so far?
It's great. It's great. I'm super excited. I did not get to do my bath before the show, so I'm going to be doing it right after the show. And Marcy will be excited because I am working on a line of bath salts, and they're custom blend, and I'm testing them out before I roll them out. But I'm gonna do the one with the rose petals this morning.
Sherry, this is exciting, especially because, you and I have been working on your lifestyle brand, and just continue to build that. And, I'm always happy to see you when another aspect of lifestyle rolls out from the Sherry Goodall flow. So I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this.
Me too. I just have so many visions of it and how, it can bless people. I mean, I put up a fun little reel on Instagram yesterday with Eric B. and Rakim, thinking of a master plan. But the truth of the matter is, it's not just about, trying to figure out how to make money. It's the lifestyle of really being a second act career woman.
That's good.
In the second act of my life, and I'm so enjoying it. Even with the bumps in the road, it's just amazing to build a life that you love. When you're 40-ish and over, right?
Yes.
It's especially to the ladies on the stage, I don't know what your ages are, but let's just assume that if you're 40-ish and over, or as you get closer to it, you do find a certain place of wisdom and just being comfortable in your own skin.
Yes.
And being unapologetic, right?
Yes.
And not willing to be overlooked anymore or underutilized or underserved from a professional standpoint. You just find your power. And so the lifestyle that I want to create is really around that and finding your power. I love that Marcy is always I'm doing my bath with my essential oils, and because she owns that, and it's from a place where she's always saying I deserve this, I deserve to treat me well. And I think that's what this lifestyle is all about when you're in your second act. And and you don't just fully get engulfed and swallowed by your career and all of other life of being, a parent or a caregiver and sister or best friend. And, you take care of everybody but you. But the second act, you're I take care of me first.
Yes.
And then everybody else falls into place.
Yes.
Can I just read something you said, Sherry?
Of course.
First of all, I love what you're saying and being unapologetic. Yes. And I put 7, so I'm right there with you. So I want to upgrade. You said the life that I want to create. So the life that you are already powerfully creating.
Yes, Queen.
Hope that you all are having a great morning so far. Facebook and YouTube family, drop a line. Let me know how your weekend was.
And that's a good reminder because Aaron knows this. On all of my social media, my handle is I am Sherry Goodall.
Yes.
And the I am part has a very important significance to me, because in finding my way back to me, I had to define who I am.
Yes.
And I lost myself along the way, and I realized when I started making this transition, I didn't really know who I was outside of being Morgan's mom, being an employee of a particular company, being Marcella and Eugene's daughter. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought I knew, but I didn't know. So when I stripped those titles, I had to figure out who I am and what exactly it means.
Yes. Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. And so, Sherry, you have started the club. Your club is called 40-ish, and women 40-ish and over?
Yes, women 40-ish and over. And I love to call it the 40-ish tribe. So,
yes.
40-ish. So, I'm not even in the 40 category anymore, but I understand like the value of 40. 40
yes.
was, and the next century is a whole another thing. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sherry, real quick, right before we go to recap this town hall and give all the people the good information, you have to talk about this. The Women 40-ish and Over Club held the first event yesterday, Self-Care Sundays. I'm still on a high from it. I'm still celebrating. I'm still tapping from yesterday. My tapping has continued. So I want to celebrate that. And I just want you to be able to share not only what it was, but even how it made you feel having that first event.
Well, it was very important for me personally to start our first room on Sunday and to make it a self-care day.
Yeah.
So even as we're talking about this right now, right? And so yesterday we had self-care Sunday, and we talked about emotional eating and what that meant exactly, and how to manage it using what they call EFT or tapping.
Right.
And Jason Winters, who is a intuitive eating coach, was in the room, and it was really transformational for a lot of people. We introduced tapping to a lot of people who may have heard of. A lot of people had heard of it with Iyanla, but they've not really understood what it was and how to use it.
Right.
And then also the 4 different forms of emotional eating. So it was a great room, and there were a lot of new faces, and I'm just excited about what we're going to be doing moving forward in some of the other rooms I'm planning.
100%. So this is going to be Self-Care Sundays. Do you have a set time? Have you decided on a set time for Sundays?
Yeah, so Sundays, it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Got it.
Because I think that's a good time. Most people have kind of gotten through their day, whatever they're going to do, and you're just kind of settling in a little bit.
Yeah. And
starting to, wind down, but you're not so tired that you just can't do anything.
Right. For sure. 100%. So right before we get into these Clubhouse updates, I want to say good morning again to my cousin, Caesar. Caesar, you all right, bro? You all right?
Yeah, man.
What's up?
Forgive me, man. Hello, Sherry.
Hello, Caesar. How are you?
And who's that? Maria and Natalie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our good friend Natalie.
And T and everybody. Man, I just got out of the gym, and I just feel like that I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I done worked out every muscle I got.
Like every muscle you got, every muscle you ever had and shit. Worked it out.
You know how you feel big? Like you walking with your arms all out. I did that. Wasn't nobody outside to see me,
You feeling slow.
He was slow.
Excuse me. That's what's up, bro. Well, I'm glad you actually went in today, because I know that the other day when we talked, you had on Friday when you were on the show, you had like a hour and 26-minute dilemma, like about whether you were gonna go in the gym or not.
Right, it's like that. Like, sometimes I just feel like, you know what? I don't see no change in my body. I really think I'm wasting my time.
Keep on going, bro. Right.
When you stop, I mean, when you eating and you eating what you want and you're not exercising and you're not really being healthy and taking care of your body, you actually can see the results of that.
Right.
You can see
you can see the result. That shit is clear.
Yeah, that shit is very clear. You can see that immediately.
Right.
But this, the opposite of it, going in there and trying to, do right by your body and all that other stuff. You don't see no damn results, man. You don't do it.
So, you just gotta keep keeping on, bro. And even if you don't change, just remember, being in shape. A circle is a shape too, bro. Just remember that. You know what I'm saying?
You got damn right. I tell people all the time. Circle is the shape.
That's it, bro. Oh man. Quick refresh again to everybody. We're going to jump into the Clubhouse updates, doing this recap, giving you what you may have missed if you didn't hit the Clubhouse town hall yesterday. First thing I want to say, just to give a shout out to Clubhouse, because I think they're doing such an amazing job as a damn 10-person team. And I say 10 because before, y'all know it was 9, those that have been keeping up, but I got some good news to tell you all today. And with that, I'm going to jump into these Clubhouse town hall recap. It happens every Sunday, 12 noon, and you should definitely be there because it's being in the midst of a technological revolution. So, of course, y'all know we celebrated Women's History Month. We're celebrating. We're celebrating. And so one of the first things I want to say, and I'm so excited to say this, and I'm going to repeat it again when we hang out with LT in a few, LT usually hops in around the 10, so she'll probably be here in the next 15 minutes or so. I'm see if I can ping her in early. Yesterday, the first highlight that Clubhouse talked about was with the Women Matter Club. The Women Matter Club. Maria, I don't know if you were there yesterday and you heard it. Sherry, it was amazing. They shout out the Women Matter Club. Now, why does that matter? Well, it's a number one, just the title, it's Women Matter. But then beyond that, knowing some people personally that are connected to that club, and one of those people being our beautiful, beautiful LT. And so LT recently, I gotta remember what she said. Sherry, I don't know, or Maria, I don't know if you all remember. What did she say? She said now she holds another position there, and it's like at the top somewhere, but I can't remember. Was it that she's the president of the club or but she has some kind of special title there. Do either one of you all know? She mentioned it the other day.
No, unfortunately, I didn't hear her the other day.
Gotcha. Okay. So we'll be able to find out in a few. But LT mentioned it the other day because we were talking about clubs, and she was like, well, I'm happy to let you all know that they just put me in this particular position as far as the club. And she, in her modest and humble way, was just like, yeah. And I was like, LT, that's amazing. I'm so happy because I can see what's been going on with that club, and because of LT. I mean, when I met LT here in this space, in this same serendipity, in the way that Natalie came through, and Meyer and Constantine and, Maria, it was in this environment where I realized when I met her, when she came through this accountability room, that I was standing with someone who was a powerful leader, someone who was humble, someone who was like a mirror, someone who we had a lot in common. So ever since then, LT and I have been, building a relationship and just getting to know each other and working together here in this environment. As you all know, she's one of the co-hosts of this show, and she's over on the East Coast. So she usually hangs out with us around this time or a little bit later. But I'm just proud of her. I'm proud of all that she is doing. I believe in her. I think that she's an amazing person. And so do you all, because we get a chance to celebrate her every day. So the Women Matter Club was mentioned. And they didn't mention LT specifically. But the fact that this is at the same time, when I texted her, she was like, really? That's crazy. That's fire. So can't wait to chop it up with her about that when she gets here. But there were so many other clubs that were held that had to do with Women's History Month. Another thing I want to say is they were happy about all the comedy and the comedians here on Clubhouse. And it makes me think about you, Caesar, and just what I was thinking about even with this environment. I told Sherry yesterday, I said, I talked to my cousin at least 2 to 3 years ago about this idea of doing comedy on the phone. I was like, it was before Clubhouse came around. So this was just my mind putting together ideas like, man, I think that this is a medium that's a great medium. At the time, the best idea I could come up with because of the tools was just if he started a podcast that was similar to what he already does and even what him and I do when we just hang out on the phone. And so, yeah.
He really did do that. He did say that, and he was definitely a pioneer in that idea. And he even went as far as to say, he's like, man, if I ever die and you don't go do comedy, I'm going to come back and kill you. That's what he told me.
Right.
You don't remember saying that?
Do I? I sure do, bro.
Yeah, he's definitely had this over the phone idea, with comedy and just reaching people any positive way that's possible.
100%.
So I definitely about you on that, brother.
Thanks, man. And so at that time, when I mentioned that idea, it was one of those things where I saw the future even before the technology was around. I just knew that when it came to something like humor, that there were many different mediums that had in, and one that was untapped was literally just right over the phone. And what I said over the phone was, I had started my podcast and I realized that, boom, you can just, I was able to do it without having a big studio and all that kind of stuff. I just use Anchor and it's right on my phone. So I'm like, this gives so much flexibility. Now, at the time when I gave the idea, I knew that even though it was a stretch, that it was something, but I knew that it was a stretch because you don't get the same effect. You don't hear the people laughing. You don't have the people unmuting their mics and talking to you. You don't have that. But I just knew I was on to something. And then fast forward, here we are. And as soon as this came out, I'm like, this is it. This is the answer. This is what I was thinking even before the invention came around. So I was happy to hear that the Clubhouse founders were like, we're happy that comedians are ruling in here. They said they're ruling Clubhouse right now. And then when they said that, I was like, that's because of what I was thinking. When you look at comedy, like we have been talking about here a couple of days ago, even with you, Caesar, and I have been talking about this period. When you look at comedy, I'm a musician, so it's one thing to be able to play and to be able to record and that kind of thing. But as a comedian, though, just like with this conversation, it's back and forth interaction. When you don't get that, it's just not the same thing. So I knew that comedy was going to be a major thing here because you get that interaction and you can do it in the convenience of not having to book a venue and all that kind of stuff. You just hang out with your peeps, you talk your shit, you laugh, you have the fun. And then you also have an audience that's listening in the background too. So it's both radio style as well as live show, people conversing style. So I'm happy and I'm going on about this because when I hear software developers say some shit that I thought about too, I'm like, yo, this is why I'm so excited. So that was exciting. They also had this huge support. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a support here to support victims of domestic violence in Russia. That was huge. Aja Monet, beautiful Black woman, is about to be our new icon. She was Sarabi in The Lion King in September. And so she also has something to do with the vagina monologues too. And a lot of people know about that because that's been a tremendous resource and that kind of thing. So that was huge. And then another huge highlight was that they hired, and this is what I said was like the second Women's History Month treat, from Clubhouse. They hired a woman by the name of Maya J. Watson, who is now head of marketing. And it was exciting. They talked to her yesterday. She has a beautiful personality. She's worked for Obama. She's worked for Oprah. She's worked for Netflix. And you could already tell just in those few minutes talking to her that this is about to be an exciting ride and that they have someone who has a beautiful heart, beautiful mind in this position. So, Sherry, I'm excited about those things. And I text you right away. I'm like, Sherry, what a treat for Women's History Month.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I do want to do a shout out for the comedians.
Yes.
Yeah, last night around 10 o'clock or so, there was a room that literally broke Clubhouse, and it was hosted by the Laugh Factory.
Wow.
Familiar with the Laugh Factory? Factory. It's out in California. And they had over 1,200 people in that room.
Wow.
And and a bunch of other comedians, Rodney Perry, all of them were on the stage.
Right.
Also, it was a big time because, you know, Tiffany Haddish actually won a Grammy for her the Black Bat Mitzvah, I think.
Okay.
And she beat out some big names. So it was really amazing. And I understand like the value of comedy so much more now since the pandemic, right? So that was exciting. And then see this young lady come on as a marketing manager for this app, and her background is just exciting for me. I watched literally my childhood babysitter start out with Oprah as one of her marketing people and created an agency. And I know what the power of working for a brand like Oprah, and of course all the others that she's worked with. It's like with so much knowledge and so much skills, but it's going to be exciting.
Yes, it really is going to be exciting, right? So those are a number of the highlights. And then here's another thing. Clubhouse turns 1 on Wednesday, people. Clubhouse officially turns 1 on Wednesday. Yes. Sherry, what'd you say?
St. Patrick's Day. That's a very special day of the year.
All right.
You know, I got a little
something in the throat.
Wednesday is St. Patrick's Day.
Let me take a guess. Is it possibly because that day is also the Earth Day, the revolution around the sun for one Sherry Goodall?
Well, since you brought it up, and I love that. Listen, that is the best birthday present ever. Like their birthday, their anniversary is the same as my anniversary.
Yes,
and my very official personal holiday. I love it, and I love you know how I feel about St. Patrick's Day. Like it's a whole vibe for me.
Right. Oh, let me tell you. I'm excited, and that is the best birthday present ever. Clubhouse turns 1 on Wednesday. I have to say this.
Clubhouse birthday party Wednesday.
Yeah, that's the deal. Yep. Yeah. I'm telling you, Wednesday is going to be a special day, and I was glad that they said it because again, I was aware that Clubhouse was under a year old, you know, because I hear a lot about April and that kind of thing. But what they mentioned was where the initial launch happened. So yeah, March 17th. So there'll be one we're going to be celebrating. And I'm excited again. What I wanted to say was that this app, I have no complaints about this app. To be able to have this undertaking with under a year and to be able to do what they did is absolutely amazing. And I love where their hearts are. If you have not read the Clubhouse Manifesto, go to joinclubhouse.com and read the why. Read their why. You're going to see where it's like empathy and compassion and respect and humanity in there. This thing has been and will always continue to be built on the backs of people like yourself and like the founders that actually are about positivity and connecting in a really, really deep and good way. So I'm just excited about that. Okay, I got to go ahead.
Like this app changes lives and connects people.
Yes.
I was in a room this morning at like around 5 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
And there was probably about a dozen people in the room, but it was venture capitalists and business owners who wanted to talk about their vibration of spreading love in the world and how they were showing up. And there were people in there talking about they had started schools in other countries and contributed funds to, support women in need and just, impactful ways of spreading love as a business owner. It was amazing. And there were people from Australia and the UK. And I was just like, this is so dope. It's just so dope.
It really is. And that's why I'm so honored to be in this environment. Here's another thing I'm really excited about. Everybody, brace yourself. they have the Creator First program that has launched, right? The Creator First program. Now, what this is basically, Sherry, what is the name? What do you call this program? Because I'm having a blank right now.
It's a grant. It's a grant that they're giving.
Yeah, so like a grant program for creators, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so here it is. It's like a package. It's called the Creator First program. Now, what this is a 3-month program, and they're selecting 20 people. I want to say at a time, because this definitely won't be this is the first wave, and this is the first rolling out of the program, unfolding of it. And so you can submit, and it's a 3-month program. $5,000 a month is what they sponsor you with, or what they grant you. $5,000 a month for 3 months, so $15,000. And then in addition to that, it's not just about giving you money. It's actually about helping your show, helping your series, helping your club, helping what you have going on. So they're going to show you how to promote. They'll even send you equipment if needed. If you need iPhones, if you need equipment as far as iRig and things to make your sound better, they'll help you with concept development and matching you with guests for your show and these kind of things. It's a program that's being rolled out for creators. And so the way that you can apply is to email creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. Again, that's creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. And when you go there, you're going to see a form that fills out. They're going to ask you about what kind of show you're doing, what kind of reoccurring series, and that kind of thing. And they'll ask you a few questions. One thing to look out for is that you do have to submit an audio file, a 3-minute audio file of your show. So that's one little thing that most people probably were surprised by, because of course, not everybody here records their shows and that kind of thing. But that is a requirement, and it makes sense, so they can listen to your experience. But that's the only one thing. Other than that, go there, creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. I was happy to say that I was able to be within the first 100 submissions. So I have my fingers crossed, because I want to tell you all something. If I get a sponsorship, this kind of grant, this kind of Creator First grant, this thing is going from here to the moon, because I already have the plan and I'm already executing it and starting to roll it out in my own plan, my own marketing, my own business plan, as far as just my personal brand and my formula, my business. But in addition to that, though, being able to just have the help of Clubhouse is going to make that much of a difference. So fingers crossed. And here's the one other thing why I'm really fingers crossed, because the thing that they've been saying in these last 2 Clubhouse town halls is when they're asked the question of what is their favorite kind of content, or what do they think people should do, they always say, the guy Paul, who's speaking mostly, he always says, what we really want to see and what we like to see and what we're amazed by and inspired by are daily shows, like morning shows, morning radio shows, drive time shows, shows where it's bringing you the news, shows where it's building community day to day. They're like, that's what we would tune into. That's what we personally would tune into, because it's such an opportunity to bring people news, to build community, and to help people to stay in the know. And so, of course, y'all know I've been jumping up and down hearing that, because that's what this has been. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So other than that, the last thing that I want to mention, or last couple of things, is Sherry, they start the world tour. They start this Clubhouse World Tour, where they're going to do town halls for different countries on a day-to-day basis. So I think today is the Italian town hall.
I love that. I got pinged into a room. I don't even know what language they were speaking, but I just sat there and listened, because I was just like, this is absolutely amazing.
Right.
Like, I'm sitting in a discussion. I have no idea what they were saying.
Yes.
But it was just beautiful to hear the other language being spoken, and just be literally like we're in our own little miniature world.
That's it.
International world.
That's it.
Well, I guess the world is international.
Don't worry, Sherry. It's not 10 o'clock yet. It hadn't hit that time, so your brain still has time to wake up. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
You got
No, but I'm with you, though.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Nah, I couldn't be more with you though. It is really like that. This environment, I'm amazed. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. So that's it for this. The only thing I had left was Tony Hawk. It was a Tony Hawk How I Met Tupac room that the founders were saying was amazing.
What?
I know, right? Yeah, I know, right? Yes. I know, right?
That's what?
And his room, and it was a How I Met Tupac room. So yeah. So
and you know how I feel about Pac.
Right. So all that was good. And then last but not least, they said if people, and this is for you, Sherry, and everybody else who's into data and analytics and that kind of thing, they said if you hear about it, that some people are getting analytics from their room, it's not a full thing because people are asking about that. When can we get analytics? When can we get analytics? So they said it's not rolling out yet, but they're working on something. And right now they have an analytics creator pilot program going on right now, where with a small number of creators, they are sending them their basic analytics so they can use that as a test run to see what we need. And, that kind of focus group testing.
Oh,
but
God, here we go again.
What? You don't want analytics?
Well, again, when the purpose of analytics is to understand your room and how it's functioning, right?
Yes.
That means there's always, and maybe I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but I believe there's always going to be somebody who's going to try and game the system. See,
yes.
Here comes Ken. I know somebody's going to try and game the system and use the analytics to their advantage, and then we get into this monetization thing again, yada yada yada, yes. And the rabbit hole goes.
Yes, yes.
Right, Ken?
Yeah, I was say that's exactly where it's going. It's a little warm up. It's going to be a game where it's like certain analytics. You're going to want them, then they're going to charge you for them once they start monetizing. So, build your audience and be like everybody else. Get them off of Clubhouse.
Yeah, I feel you. So, so I dig it, right? And I can appreciate that. And even as you just said, Sherry, putting on the pessimistic hat, I can actually appreciate that. Here's the thing, right? So first thing I would say is of course, anybody can use anything for anything. A damn butter knife, can be used to slice some butter, or it could be used to try to harm someone. So I agree with you. Anybody can use anything. I think when it comes to analytics, I guess me being an optimist, I just stay more on the side of it's kind of good when you at least kind of know some things to help you better serve people. You know what I mean? Like if there was a way that I could gauge how many people actually come through this room on a day-to-day basis without having to stare at the screen, it would help some things. But yeah, at any rate, they're looking to service more so with those analytics. Well, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and you know what? Let me flip the term. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a marketer, right?
Right.
And as a marketer, the good thing about the analytics is, if you want to start going after sponsorship, because you have a daily show, then that's great. Like right. Saturday, I was in the podcast culture conference, which right. was the first podcast culture conference here on the platform. It was amazingly successful. It was 6 hours long. It was some of the heavy hitters in podcasting. They had sponsors who were doing giveaways in the room. It was awesome. So from that perspective, yes. But they were finding a way to capture their analytics themselves, using Google Forms and getting reviews and feedback that way.
Yes.
So I do understand the value of it. I just, I'm always protective about watering down the app because
right.
I love it in its pure form of what it is right now.
I agree with you. And mostly, like you said, you're a marketer. The thing is, you're an emotionally intelligent marketer. So that's why you could be a marketer and not come into environments and fuck every damn thing up like most marketers do, right? It's just... I mean, I'm just saying. It's true. God damn it, it's true.
My people like that. And stop flashing.
It's not all. They're not all.
Stop flashing that damn mic, Ken.
We ruin everything. We ruin everything. That's what we do.
That's why I'm glad that my favorite people are emotionally intelligent marketers. Because here's the thing. Because it's not that, and this is why I love saying this. Because it's not their market. We know it. It's not their marketing is bad at all. it's like anything. Like I said, it's the person that has the tool in their hand. And when you have it in your hand in the right way, I mean, you and Ken have both double-handedly, let's just put it that way. Y'all have like gave me such a good education and feeling about sales funnels. And like those two terms from where I came from, like I automatically put up the crucifix, like, wait a minute, because it just sounds scary. It sounds, but you all have shown me, no, this is literally still about the same bottom line things. This is about connecting with people in a positive way and all that kind of stuff. It can be inviting and warm and helpful and not salesy and scammy. So yeah, I'm glad to have emotionally intelligent marketers as friends.
Well, I am glad to be here. And I know we're about to wrap this up. So I'm going to say in advance that I have to bounce right after this to get to my accountability partner and do our daily call that we do.
100% for your miracle morning. And so with that, we're going to wrap up that segment with Sherry. And then in addition to that, I want to tell you all in this and kind of on the tail end, if you PTR, you'll see that I am a bit different than you usually see me as. And here you all see my frog.
I'm about to leave. You're this damn frog. I need to postpone my damn meeting. Holy cow.
Okay, so let me tell you all what the froggery is about. So this is actually a testimonial pic. So one of the things that I do is, I'm not out here in these Clubhouse streets.
Make sure you're listening to this. I'm sorry, Aaron. Make sure you're listening because I need to know if it's just me. This right here.
All right, so here's what the froggery is about. All right, so I keep myself in the house. If I'm not doing this AP morning show or if I'm not supporting one of you other beautiful people in your events, I'm not out here in these Clubhouse streets. It's to, tailor my experience to be a good experience. And yeah, it fits in with my life really well. And I don't have to struggle with addiction with it or that it's taking up too much of my time. It's concise and it's efficient. But on Sundays, I will, after leaving the town hall, I like to scroll down the newsfeed, just kind of see what people are doing, see where people's minds are these days with the unfolding of this app. And then I like to find intimate spaces where there's only a few people and it's a topic I can relate to. So what that equaled was Friday, y'all, I happened to be a part of the Clubhouse live concert series with LaChris and Yolanda and the whole crew. And I got an opportunity to present and be a headliner for an amazing group of people. It was amazing. You all will see me back again, and I'll be giving you notification of that. But then leaving from there, I wound up in a freestyle cypher room, and I wound up rapping and playing the piano. That was hilarious because how different their etiquette was. It had me in tears. And then from there, I'm scrolling down the hallway, and I see this room that's called Only Frogs. And the club is called Only Frogs. And when I go in, I wish I could actually see if I could PTR and put like the picture from my phone on there where you can see the whole room. The whole room, or at least the stage, was filled with just frogs. And the thing was, they had no description, nothing. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I love this already because that's why I love this app. You just never know what you're going to find. Okay, if you do a PTR, there we go. It fits. Do a quick PTR, you're going to see what the room looked like at a certain point. Look at that. I just did a PTR, and I see your Abby, Sherry, with the shake in my hands. That was perfect. So I'm a person who, I'm not just a fool, right? I am a fool, but I'm not just a fool. So, and anybody who wants to come up on stage, by all means, come on up. So I'm not just a fool, right? So what it is being in niche for a while, I've created a living from finding my niche. And I happened to build a company from 0 to 6 figures off of an idea that was a niche idea that wasn't happening in our world. With that experience, it's now made me see other niches. So I'm a producer first, so I'm always intrigued with creativity. So when I saw this, I'm like, I have no idea what this is. So when I go in, the people aren't saying anything. Only thing I hear is just silence, and then all of a sudden I hear something go, ribbit. And then everybody opens up their mic, is like, ribbit. And I'm like, oh my God. So then they just start talking, and they're just, as they say, just shooting the shit. You know, they're just talking about things. It's a positive group of people, nothing crazy, scammy going on. But it's literally the same as if you were to see frogs literally out in nature. It would be how they would have a conversation, just sitting on logs, chilling, and every now and then somebody would say something. So I went up on stage and I was like, I have no idea. They didn't even give me an introduction or nothing. They just invited me up on stage. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I want y'all to know, whatever the fuck this is, I love this shit. And they started busting out laughing. And we made friends. And what they basically said was, this is a room where on Fridays we do this. It's relaxed. We just shoot the shit, you know, and that kind of thing. And the guy said something real funny when I first started. He said something that was like completely nonsensical. That's similar to the serendipity of the equation. Serendipity, similar to something that my good friend Coco would say. This guy says something like, I said, what is this room about? He said, well, do you know when frogs, you know, when they're thinking about life and they decide to move forward with their life and do positive things, they're trying to figure out which way to go and what to eat today. And they do it in the most miraculous way. And it was silence. Hey, Ken, I was dying, bro. And so they laughed and they were like, look, we're just messing with you. You know, they were like, this is just, you know, a relaxed hangout, blah, blah, blah. So what it turned into was me playing the piano, me making friends with some frogs, and me telling them that from a branding and marketing standpoint, they were onto something amazing, because the beauty of this conversation was that you had no idea what it was about. But when you really look at it, they're these cute frogs, and it's just like how a conversation would be with frogs, just hanging out. So I was like, y'all should never have a topic. Y'all should never have a title. Should never have anything, because the beauty in this room is the vagueness. So anyway, that's how I became a frog this weekend. And I told them, I was like, I want to perform the piano on your show once a month, just one song once a month. And it was great. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but no, I'm not. What it is that, I mean, I am, but you know, at the same time, I'm not. Niche ideas go a long way. Ken, am I lying, bro? This would be the type of thing that would just blow for no reason.
No, it's already blowing up. I'm gonna tell you why in different forms.
Yeah.
I was on Clubhouse this weekend, kind of doing the same thing, looking for rooms that had topics, and I came across this room. I think it was something about marketing communications. But
right.
When I popped in the room, everybody's icon was a minion. Remember the Minions?
Yeah.
And all they did was sing hip hop songs in that minion type whine or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just bust out laughing, and I literally stayed in the room for at least 15 minutes.
Yes.
And all they did was go from song to song, and everybody's icon was a minion. So much so, I was like, yo, if I'm gonna be here, I gotta have a minion.
I gotta have a minion.
It was super entertaining, but all they did was sing like hip hop. Like, we're talking about mainstream hip hop songs, like
right.
MC and all that other stuff. But
yeah.
they were singing them in the minion voice. Like, it was wild, yo. Like I said, I'll be back. When it comes up again, I'll be right back.
Yo, Ken, the reason, and see, that's it right there. And this is the last thing I'll say, and then, you know, we'll open it up. I want everybody else to chime in and say what's up to the good people. So, and by all means, come to the stage if you all want to hang out with the buffoonery. You know what it is. We want to say, hey, stand in accountability with you, affirm you on your day. Ken, the reason why this made me so excited is because going back to the town hall, going back to these developers, going back to the psychology of their mindset, what they have been saying is that the thing they like most, they're honored, they're so grateful about this invention that they've created. Because the thing they like most is that middle ground, like the fact that there are things in this environment as far as creativity that can happen that it only makes sense in this environment. Like it wouldn't be possible without this kind of medium. And so this idea where you have this world between professional, you can have a professional thing that has a relaxed feel, or you can have a relaxed thing that is very inviting and has a professional or feeling of integrity with it. You know, you can have people from cross cultures, from different interests that don't make sense. Like, where else can you go on other social media and be in a virtual experience with minions singing? Like, it's just not the same.
Exactly.
So it's why I love this. And yes, Sherry, that's why I became a frog this weekend. And for everybody here, I told them, I inboxed all of them, made friends. I was like, I thank y'all for letting me participate in the froggery. And yeah. So yes, everybody, with that, I want to welcome anybody else to the stage who would like to come on up. Let's hang out. You know what to do. Throw up a wave. And if not, you just want to hang out in the background, by all means. I'm excited. I can't wait till LT gets here because got to share the news again about the Women Matter Club and just that excitement. And so in the meantime, between time, everybody, let's open up our microphones. Let's say a huge good morning to the good brother Meyer coming with the clarity. Meyer with the clarity. Never ever scaring me. Just bury me first. Meyer.
Hey.
With the clarity. Let's get it, Meyer.
Good morning, Meyer.
Yeah.
Morning, Meyer.
Can you guys hear me? I think my Wi-Fi is cutting out.
You're good, man.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We were vibing with the song, Meyer. You
Right.
missed it.
With the Maya
Oh,
clarity, driving a serendipity, like it's serenity, coming together like it is synchronicity.
Hey.
Flowing from city to city.
Now I'm stubbing my toe.
Yep.
Go one more time, then I stumble the flow. Okay. I
Yep.
got 100 to go. I'm just doing this shit until the duffel could grow. I don't need trouble no more. I smell trouble. Wreak havoc. I'm double the flow. Okay.
Okay. Maya, always good to see you, bro. Always good to be just like Domino, falling one at a time, picking each other up in accountability. Like what? Yo, feeling it, always just doing it. Go ahead, you got it.
That's how I stay strong with A wrong.
Hey.
Yo, we got to have a great dog. Man, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead, lace the whole lace song.
No problem, bro. I'll just do 8. Hand it back to my brother like I just ate. I'll do 2 more just for the flow. Then I'll let you go.
Oh, here we go now. Ain't the type to hide out. My bad. I think that was 4 by my count. That was chilling in my parents' wild house. Here we go. Yeah, I'm about to go and dial down. We can go 4 for 4. I'm kind of at 6. So I'll go ahead and flow it one more time. Mix. Maybe I'll just double this shit. With all the tricks that they know is only for the kids. We flow on this shit.
Maya, it's good to see you, bro.
Good to see you. Yeah,
always, man. Hey, yo, check this out. Okay, so that was perfect flow. It made me think about another thing that happened this weekend that was in that concert experience that I was a part of. Again, I was a part of the Clubhouse live concert series on Friday. Yeah, and it was amazing. One of the things that happened in there, one of the guys that presented, his name was Jonathan. And Jonathan was a rapper, but his specialty was freestyling. Specialty. I mean, freestyling for me has become something that's, man, I did it when I was young, and now it even means more to me after learning improvisation. I feel like I've gotten even better at it. But my point is, Jonathan is one of these, man, this dude was like a savant when it came to freestyling. So here's what he did. His performance was, he was like, the way that I rap is that you all give me random words. And he was like, right. And he was like, I just take that and I do it. Now, I've heard people do stuff like this before, as far as even in the music world. I mean, I do it. I'll tell people at performances, give me a couple notes. I'll make a whole song out of it, blah, blah, blah. So
freestyle obstacle course.
Yeah, freestyle obstacle course, right? So I was already like, yeah, this is going to be cool. This is going to be exciting. Bro, this dude, I swear he had to be a savant. He asked us words. We gave him like at least 12 words. And these words were like, my word was rabbit. Somebody else's was like tax. Somebody else was totem pole. It just kept going. At some point, I'm thinking this dude is writing these words down. He's like, okay, let me get this correct. So you got comb, you got rabbit, you got blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking he's reading off the paper. Then he's like, then you had, wait a minute, what was that again? Yo, this dude is remembering these words. He launches, right. He rips off the rest of these words and then launches into this freestyle, bro, for like the next, and like at least 3 or 4 minutes. Like if it weren't for just cutting him off, like he would have just kept going, right? And not even that was a bad thing. Like, he was just flowing. But my point is that it was like, yo, this dude's mind was amazing when it came to It's sound written, bro. You could not tell that he didn't already have those words. It was that deep. So
that's gold.
I love it, bro.
100%. I do something similar, or I did, but I'm like not disciplined, where I get people to throw words at me, because that's just like, that's the best way to sharpen it, and that's, you know, more entertaining. But I don't think I could remember like a million words given to me first and then go to the like, nah, it's got to be on the spot.
Right.
So that's great.
Yo, so freestyling, right? You know, I have such a deeper appreciation for freestyling now because, again, you know, I started off as a rapper at 14. And then when I got into freestyling, you know, it was a special kind of thing because it was right brain, you know, the difference between left brain flow and right brain flow. And then when I started learning how to play piano and then getting to improvisation, it increased my mind when it comes to that kind of flow. It increased my mind when it comes to that right brain flow and that ability to, with improvisation, just flow in that way. What do you think about that, bro? Like, when it comes to freestyling, do you enjoy freestyling? Does it have a special place to you in combination with written? Like, how do you see it, bro?
I was about to say, it's like the freestyle is like another tool,
right?
The arsenal kind of thing, where it's like, I like it, like I love it because it helps me write better, it helps me come up with flows better.
Yes.
And I think like,
looks like we might have lost. Sorry, Meyer.
Did I just get disconnected there? What happened?
I'm not sure what happened, bro, but you got it.
All right, I'm back. Glitch in the Matrix.
Right.
What was I saying? Yeah, the best music is shit that's just like on the spot, right?
Right.
Like you plan it. So just being able to like practice the freestyle and just make it like a more sharpened tool.
Yes.
It's just like helps me with writing.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to find here? There's like a communal aspect to it too.
Yes.
Where it's like you can all bust into like a cipher kind of thing.
Right.
And so that becomes a whole other language.
It does.
That's unique in itself. That's like the new jazz musician, you know, when jazz musicians get together and jam, it's like, all right, well, we don't have instruments, but we're each gonna do 8.
Yes, bro. So this is one of the things how it ties in for me to emotional intelligence. It ties into psychotherapy for me as I'm in school for it. It ties into all these things. So there's this concept of utilization, and utilization, I think. Looks like I got kicked out of my own room too. So there's this concept called utilization, right? In psychotherapy.
You're still on mute.
Oh, there we go. Looks like I got kicked out of my room. So there's this concept of utilization, right, within psychotherapy, and utilization is defined as, and this is amazing to me. Utilization is defined as you basically using everything that's in your flow towards your goal, right? So it doesn't matter what comes your way, you're using that in an improvisational way so that you always reach your goal no matter what is presented in the moment. And it's one of the things that why I have so much respect for freestyling and why I have so much respect for what we talk about as far as how our outlook on life and how we try to look from this perspective of utilizing as many things as we go through, experiences as we have toward like our goal or not letting it throw us off track, you know? So I'd say that to say, Meyer, that, you know, utilization is one of those things that was introduced to me first, like from the freestyle and cypher world. And then eventually as a piano artist, and then eventually even further than that, you know, as a thought, you know, as a free thinker, as a thought leader and these kind of things, you know, it's powerful, bro.
I definitely, in terms of utilization, like my journey was, you know, there's a lot of detours that all blend back into the overall thing.
Right.
In Montreal, we have this thing called CJEP, which is like, essentially it's like grade 12 that fused with like college.
Yeah.
It's like not high school, it's like half college.
Yeah.
So I took like cinema communications just because, you know, I needed to take something and they didn't really have a music program.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, that had nothing to do with the shit I want to do.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I was in the subway like 3 years later, and I ran into a classmate, and I was like, "Shit, how are you doing?" And then they filmed like 5 music videos for me because of that conversation. So
wow.
It all bleeds back.
Yo, I love that, man. I want to do a quick reset of the room. I want to say hello to my good friend Anthony Magnabosco, someone who I really appreciate. I just want to take a second to say this. Someone who I really appreciate for his work in the field of street epistemology. And if you all have never heard of street epistemology, number one, you're meeting a huge fan of it. And it comes from being a huge fan of the Socratic method. You know, this method of asking questions in order to be able to engage. I happen to be brought up by the greatest question asker around, my mom, a 36-year school teacher who taught me the value of education and exposure. And so she had me like Curious George asking questions from as long back as I could even remember talking. And so I didn't even know it was called the Socratic method before just knowing it was just the way that I talk. It was the way that I engage. It's what's the foundation of this show. For many of you all that know, that started out here with me on December 15th, that beautiful morning, and every day, Monday through Friday since, is that it started with a question. That question first started off with just saying a hello and a greeting and saying that I'm your accountability partner and what could I stand in accountability with you on in your life. And it's been that way not only ever since, but of course it's developed into a morning show. So I just want to say good morning to the good brother Anthony Magnabosco, and also want to say good morning to Too Dapper, Angelo, and also, of course, Sherry, who still has her poem. Oh, okay, now I refreshed. Okay, Sherry, you got rid of the poem, the poem face. That was hilarious. Oh my gosh, that was the greatest. And so I want to do a quick refresh so I can tell you all, for those that aren't aware, the AP Morning Show, you can come up to the stage by all means, throw up a wave. I see Too Dapper. And by no means, there's no pressure. If you like to just enjoy this as your background radio show, as many people do, then of course you can do that too. And so with that, everybody, let's open up our microphones. Let's say a huge good morning again to the good brother, Ken Briscoe. Ken, what's happening?
Good morning.
Yes.
What's happening? It keeps kicking people out.
Right.
I think it's because he got that frog.
Brother Ken, man, it's always a pleasure, bro. Yeah, the frog, bro. I'm on that froggery still. And so, yeah, it's the frog effect, bro.
No, man, everything's good, man. It's Monday. Getting started. Get ready to run through this week and make some stuff happen.
Yes. I love it, bro. I love it. I'm always excited about Monday mornings, bro. New opportunities and that kind of thing. Did you have a good weekend, bro?
I did. Of course, you know, making transition, things are changing.
Yes.
Accepting it, you know what I mean? But
yes.
I'm excited. I'm always excited. I don't know. I'm terminally excited. I don't know if it's a good thing, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
Beautiful thing, Ken.
I don't really understand. I'm always excited about everything. I think I'm just learning.
It can't be a bad thing, Ken. Optimism is good, man.
Listen, I can't seem to figure out, even when bad things happen.
Right.
In about 5 minutes, I'll figure out why it's not bad.
Exactly. It's me too, bro.
I've really been pushing this whole thing about stop resisting. Like that's my motto for the last month or so. Just don't resist anything. I don't care what it is. Stop resisting.
Right.
And see what happens.
Leaning in.
Yeah, it's really been working out. I mean, to the point where it's becoming now part of my value system.
Right.
Where I just don't resist anything. It comes, all right, let's keep moving with it. You know, swim with the tide and pick up speed.
Yes. Let me tell you something, man. I just read it this morning, and for those that weren't here, I'll do just a quick reiteration of it. Just read it this morning. It's talking about saying it's okay to feel this way. Leaning into things, allowing yourself to say, not only is it okay, but leaning into the emotions, leaning into the feelings. Again, it's when we talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, these things, it's opening up to the difficult emotion, opening up to all of them, that allows you to settle in. And what happens from there is you find your peace, your contentment, your strength, your motivation, all of that kind of good stuff. You find it from a different place that's not dependent on the circumstances or situations. Is why I always say my religion is acceptance over expectation. because of just that fact. It's just that the more I settle into the things that I can't change, the things that come my way, no matter what it is, it allows me to have that same kind of like, I'm just excited all the time. So Ken, I connect with you on that, bro. Golly.
Man, I'm realizing I'm one of those folks that are always looking for a mind hack, right?
Yeah.
Or a productivity hack. I'm so success driven. And I hate to sound like a cliche, but who I am. I'm so success driven that I will shift whatever needs to be shifted to put me in the most optimized position. It was something I heard a long time ago. This guy said, anything that doesn't serve you, you have the right to put it down. And like, I'm really living into that lately, where I can just put it down, shift perspective, and keep moving, because the outcome is going to benefit me. Like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it might be because I'm getting old too. That might have a lot to do with it.
You know, it's interesting, bro, because the way I look at it is like, I do think it's partly even what you're saying, and because I think what the old thing comes with is this wisdom thing. You know, at least that's what you're hoping for, right? You know, but it's like, it's one of those things where wisdom is like, you know, it's only you, it's relative, right? It's relative. The thing I like about it though is what you're essentially saying, in my opinion, is like one of these things where, again, you're just settling yourself in a bit more into the acceptance of what is, and you're not trying to fight it. Whatever you fight, you ignite. Whatever you resist, you know, persist. And it's acceptance. It's another level of acceptance combined with an unapologetic, you know, this is how it is for me. I don't give a damn. You know, I don't give a damn about people's feelings, all these kind of things. It's that acceptance, bro, on another level to me. It's just
crazy though is that success comes when you accept.
Can I answer the question here for both of you guys? I'm just curious. I like the outlook and your perspective on certain things, Aaron.
Thank you, man. And good morning to you.
Honestly,
no doubt.
Good morning to you. Honestly, man, as a younger person, you know, I don't think I've tapped into that wisdom. And because you made the point about sort of, if it's not serving you, let it go. I think professionally, what I've experienced thus far, you know, like I keep profession and passion kind of separate. I've just had to up to this point, but I'm noticing that I'm sort of frozen by gratitude, right? Like these grandiose opportunities and people sort of taking bets on me in the professional sphere. It almost feels like I'm supposed to be grateful and be there and sort of meet my end of the bargain. But I think I'm reaching a point where not as satisfied, right? And it's like, how much of a disservice am I doing myself by sort of with this gratitude, and how much do I actually owe, you know, to sort of seeing people's bets on me through, you know, that's sort of who I am. And I think with time, like 5 years from now, there will be wisdom gleaned from this, but I'm not at the other end of it yet. So I'm just curious on your perspective on that.
Man, first of all, bro, I absolutely love that you asking this question, man. And I just thank you for even sharing and even just opening up that way, because I love it, bro. I'm a type of guy where I say what I know, you know. So if there's anything I know that can help, boom. So thank you, bro. First thing that comes to mind for me is I want to ask you a question. When you say gratitude, I heard you say gratitude and being grateful. And I want to break it down a little bit more so we can get to the crux of what you're experiencing and what you're feeling in your heart, the thing that inclines you. When you say gratitude and being grateful, am I understanding you correctly that you're saying when people give you opportunities, you feel like you should take them because of it, or sometimes you feel the pressure to take them in order to feel grateful, in order to show gratefulness, and to take advantage of something that may be positive. And that's separate from whether you actually really want to do it or not. You find yourself sometimes moving in that direction because of, like, when someone gives you something, you kind of don't want to not give them something back. Let me know if that's
to your question. Yeah. To your question, to give you some sort of color on the situation. I'm, you know, grew up very poor, son of immigrants. Like lived in the projects. I'm in financial services now, right? So that sort of comes with everyone that I work with, and in the sphere of my professional life, doesn't really know who I am or where I come from all that well. There's not that many people like me or like in general in this space, right? So I'm leveraging the advice of people that also have insight on a space and a world that the people that know me most don't have an insight into, right? Corporate America, financial services, and things like that.
Right.
And you come to these people, especially, I'm humble, man. I'm humble. Like, I come to these people for advice. What should I do next, right?
Right.
And then, and sort of specifically to me, they're like, look, like this is the best way for you to go. This is where you're going to be able to grow the quickest and learn the most skills.
Right.
But that place per se doesn't line up with my passions. Now, that's also me swinging. That's also me swinging for the fences, right? There's a job that's hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
And because I spoke to these people, I did the right things and worked well for the last 2 years, I got an opportunity to do something that is probably the most beneficial to my career, right? Something that I would need way more experience to get. And I'm leveraging the advice of people that I think know more than me.
Yes.
But then I'm also realizing it's just not in line. And it's not even that my passions are that far off. But it's like, it's not that in line, and I almost thought, like, I've always been able to, like, I play sports my whole life, right? Like, I was a D1 athlete. Like, I've always been able to just suck it up and show up to practice, and that's what I thought I was going to see this as.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's age, I don't know if it's laziness. It's like I haven't been able to suck it up and attribute it to practice, even though at the same time I've always been able to, and that's sort of what I sold on them. Like, listen, I'll do this because it's the best for me, and I want to do it, period.
Okay, here you go. So I think I even understand it better now. Thank you so much for the way you're sharing this. Okay, so one of the things that we've been talking a lot about is acceptance. And what happens is at each stage of the game, there's another level of acceptance. I can echo with your story because I'm like you. I took a lot of advantage of opportunities, and I was always looking for ones that were positive for me, and I have an open mind. What winds up happening at some point is that's a part of your process of refinement. That's the part of the process of you defining you. So what you have to accept is that certain things don't work at certain stages of your development anymore, and you have to accept that things are changing and that you need to go in a new direction, or you need to be grateful for those opportunities, but also know that they don't actually fit where you want to go. Because what will happen is, if not, you'll have this cognitive dissonance where there'll be a thing that you want in your heart, a thing that really defines who you are and defines the path that you want to go on. But at the same time, you'll struggle between that and going on a path that is either, what's the word I'm looking for? Expected of you, or if you want to be in good standing with people, if you want to, you have to accept and be able to graciously say that this opportunity or this particular thing, it was good for me at one point in time. But if I'm trying to really go in a direction where I really want to go, I'm going to have to say no to some things. I'm going to have to actually dial back and not actually feel guilty about it. Even in communication, say, I really actually appreciate this. I really, really do. But I can't, unfortunately, now, because here's where I'm going, here's what I'm doing, and that kind of thing. And then from there, you can't expect other people to be able to understand that. That's when you have to kind of just do the whole, like, balance, kind of even keel, centered thing, where it's like you have the acceptance of what you're saying, and that other people, it may be different, but you accept that too. And that's it. And you stay positive, throughout the experience. Let me just tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to pass it to, I'm going to ask you if that helps in any way, and then also let Ken chime in here. The other way I figured this out was, I don't know if you were in here earlier when I was talking about the business that I created, but I created a business that went from 0 to 6 figures from 2008 to 2015. And what made it do that, and even more so the impact that it had on the people, was that the decision that I made early on, where I was providing services at one level for one price, and then in order, that was to get my foot in the door and so that I could serve people and build. I needed those opportunities. At some point, though, those opportunities would just burn me out and not actually feed my real dream. So I had to do what you're talking about right now. I had to just realize that and recognize that those just weren't the opportunities for me anymore. And I had to set a different price. I had to go in a different direction. And my acceptance of that allowed for the people who could understand and support me to understand and support me. The people that couldn't, they couldn't, and they went about their way, and I had to be accepting of that. But then the benefit of it was what came after that, because I was literally then walking in my dream and living life in a way that was fit for me. And that's for you too, Dapper. That's for you, bro. That's for you.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
No doubt. Ken, I wanted you to jump in here too, bro. I didn't want to just.
Oh no, cool.
Ramble.
I'm real quick, and then I gotta jump. But what I just would say is, it sounds like to Dapper, as you start your career and you can get into it, everything is transactional in the beginning, right? You help me, I help you. But I would tell you, being a little bit older, is if you feel like it's not serving you, then ultimately I would give you the advice to, and I know this is gonna sound regular, kind of write down everything that you'd want to do in your life, every role you'd want to hold specifically, not just in a job specific capacity, but in industry. Like if there's a particular location, if there's a particular lifestyle that's all related to your career, write it down.
Right.
Because that's going to allow you to keep focus. And I will tell you, at each one of those levels, you will achieve a new level of wisdom that may shift slightly those goals. If they're around your passion, they're not going to change dramatically, but it may shift them slightly. I can also tell you is be willing to remove yourself from that transactional relationship as you get older and start being very intentional about the direction you want to go in. And you'll find that things become less transactional and more experiential. And I think that's when you'll start to see real value in how you fulfill your personal passions and the opportunities that present themselves. Essentially, you'll start to evaluate those opportunities through a different lens once you've kind of moved through that transaction phase. And you have to move through that transaction phase early on to be able to discern between what's worth a transaction and what's more worth the experience. If you don't have that transaction experience, you won't be able to make or have the right judgment. I hope that helps you a little bit, but I want to tell you, time is only going to get you where you want to go. And time is your friend. Don't believe it isn't, because you need that to acquire the skill set to make the proper decision at every next level.
Powerful. So powerful. Brother Dapper, did that help you, man?
I'm always in here listening, man. I'm glad I got to pose that question because it's sort of been top of mind, and I knew you could provide some insight, man. I've heard a lot about everything here, and I don't know if you see, but I'm in the crowd often.
Yes.
And it's nice. I appreciate you for the insight, and you as well, Ken.
Man, thank you so much. And I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man, to speak to you. I have seen you hanging out, man, and it really means a lot. I'm glad that you've been getting value out of this experience, man. And like I said, it's even more of a pleasure to hear your voice, bro. Nice to meet you, man. Yes. And I actually have, when we continue chopping it up, I actually think I have another thought that may feed that too. That's just a general thought for everyone. Thanks for coming through. I want to open up the stage again, say hello to Coco, Miss Mouthpiece, Mo Smith, Anthony Magnabosco, of course, the brother Too Dapper, Ken Meyer, and Sherry. If there's anybody who would like to come to the stage, by all means, you know what you can do. Just throw up a wave, come on through. And if not, you want to keep hanging out, make this your background favorite radio show. I know that too. I also want to say hello to the peeps. We want to say hello to the peeps over on FB and YT, my Facebook and YouTube family. D-Love Harrison says, good morning, King. Have a great day. Much, much love. And Chris, thank you so much, bro, for helping out with the audio. 100%, baby. Thank you. I hope y'all had a great weekend. And so on that tip, I actually want to, say what's up to the good brother, Eric. Eric, good to see you, bro. Broski, if you'd like to come to the stage or anybody, go ahead and throw up a wave. And then I'm also excited. Man, y'all have no idea. And I hope LT comes in. I'm excited because earlier when we were chopping it up, bringing you the information about the Clubhouse Town Hall recap, I was telling you that one of my favorite things about that recap, about the Town Hall, and in doing the recap was that I got a chance to hear, as soon as I came into the Clubhouse Town Hall, the first thing that they said as far as the highlight was that they wanted to give a shout out to the Women Matter Club. The Women Matter Club. That's where our beloved LT is here. And you may see her come through this morning. She's on the West Coast, so she usually gets started a bit later. But I was honored to hear that because she actually has become a major part of the Women Matter Club, and they're doing some amazing things. So excited about that. Excited. I want to read this, and this is for you, Angelo, Brother Dapper. This is for you, and this is for everyone. This is something I wrote. It's about generosity. Check this out. Why it feels good to give, but why there are three mindsets, and you got to remind yourself, you got to be aware of what mindset you're in when it comes to the just generosity thing, because there's one way of giving that is beneficial, and there are two ways of giving that are not beneficial. Here we go. A quick definition. Generosity, of course, is the quality of being kind, understanding, and not selfish. The quality of being generous. The other thing about this is that generosity can bring us a lot of joy, fulfillment, and happiness, but it depends on what mindset is coming from. Here are the three mindsets of generosity if you've never heard of it before. The first one, which is beneficial, is unselfishly seeing and sharing with someone, having empathy, compassion, and kindness, to share out the desire to see the person happy and with good well-being. That is unobligatory, not overly attached to receiving in return. That's beneficial. But the second one, giving because we don't feel like we deserve, or giving generously out of self-pity, is non-beneficial. And then the third, which is giving out of obligation or fear of being seen in a particular judgmental way, that's non-beneficial to give that way. Of these three mindsets, it's important to monitor and be honest with oneself about the source of the generosity when being generous, to make sure that it's coming from a healthy place as opposed to an unhealthy place. Generosity can come in the form of giving time, money, attention, and even extending feelings of loving kindness, patience, empathy, presence, and even making space for another person's feelings, preferences, or opinions. Some other practices of giving generosity includes thanking people more, smiling, making people feel seen, heard, or like their feelings matter. And even giving someone something simple, like giving them your undivided and complete attention when they are sharing. Practice gentleness with yourself and reflection as opposed to guilt during times when you don't feel generous. Practice extending generosity with difficult as well as easygoing people to really build your resilience and giving capacity without being taken advantage of course. Remember, you're not condoning negativity or detrimental behavior. What you're doing is you're activating change by setting an example and not stooping to such low levels. Remember that two of the most simplest but most impactful and effective ways to apply generosity is to let someone be who they are, as long as they aren't harming anyone else, of course, and to be present with someone during a tough time. You may not be able to take away their pain or suffering, but your presence will make them feel like they are not alone, which is invaluable and irreplaceable. And so on that tip, if there's anyone that has any thoughts about that, by all means, you know how it is. Love for you to share. Love to hear your voice. Love to hear what you got. Let's say good morning to Miss Mouthpiece, Mo Smith. Good morning to you, Mo.
Good morning, King. How are you?
I'm doing well, as you see. On fire about this damn generosity thing. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I love the generosity. I love the fact that there's something that you said. I was talking about being selfish yesterday, and something that you read about sometimes how people give because they feel obligated.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Because sometimes what I think people, it's kind of like it touches underneath the lines of lack of self-esteem.
Yes.
And you know, and it's like you're giving only because you don't feel worthy and you don't feel appreciated. So you're trying to really like, okay, well, I'll do this just in hoping that somebody will return that to you, but you're not really confident about it. Yeah, so I really wanted to, you talked about all the beautiful sides of it, but on the other corner of that, you know, I think sometimes people are givers, not because, you know, even thinking about it from a religious stand, people are giving because they want something back. They're not doing it because it's from the heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm doing it because either you feel pressured or you're doing it because you're trying to, like, I'm expecting something, you know, that I want.
Let me tell you, Miss Mouthpiece, let me tell you this. when I was Christian, when I was fundamentalist Christian. It's the thing that stopped me from tithing. And not stopped as in I had a bad feeling about it. It was, I thought about something. I said, wait a minute. I grew up with a giving mother. I grew up with a mother that nurtured me, that showed me the power of giving and showed me the power of doing something, not out of fear of what would happen to me if I didn't do it, or not out of obligation of someone saying that I have to do it or I better fear of what's going to happen if I don't do it, but out of the purity of my heart, because I wanted to do it and because I was not attached to the rewards or to the punishments of it. And what it did for me is it stopped me in my tracks. And I said, and this was during a different part of my life. So during that time, I was like, if I'm going to give, like in this particular paradigm, if I'm going to give, I will only give when I'm not trying to do it for a reward or to avoid a punishment. I will do it because it's out of the kindness and the purity of my own heart and not caring about a damn thing in return.
That's good.
And I realized that was different than the entire theology around it. And it opened up my eyes in a new way. So I agree with you. And that's why when you apply it to life, when you apply it to the fact that you know damn well if there was somebody at your job or somebody in your family that had you under duress doing shit, you'd be like, yeah, this is not healthy for me to actually give in this way. And so I love what you're saying. And I love the fact that you brought that forward, because you're absolutely right. Because you're absolutely right. And Miss Mouthpiece, is this our first time getting a chance to hear each other's voice, or am I like?
No, this is our first time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I think you reached out to me on IG,
yes.
And I just haven't had an opportunity to be on Clubhouse because I just have been so busy. But this morning, I just, I kind of like to feel led.
Yes.
And this morning I felt led to be on Clubhouse. It was like an urge to like, hey, make your presence known.
Yes.
There could be something that you can, help enhance your week. So here I am.
Yes. Okay, this is real exciting. Okay, for everyone here, this is a testimonial moment. This is one of those beautiful moments of serendipity and intention. So one of the things that I talk about in this environment is the fact that the most beautiful aspect, we talked about it earlier, we cried about it, we shed tears, we had joy. So much about it is that in this environment, we get a chance to meet in an organic way other people that have like-minded interests. I've been doing that since 2008 on different platforms. The last time I did it in an organic way where I got a chance to feel the people was in 2013 when I created a Facebook group that was called, at that time, Let's Talk Universal Spirituality. And it was filled with over 600 people who connected on a day-to-day basis. That was when I was going through my transitional process and my deconversion and some inclinations was going on. But I did that in the midst of 600 people where we were close, but it was still a chat away. It was still a message away. So to do this in this environment where I get the chance to talk to a Mo Smith right in real time, and it's an amazing thing. So one of the things that I do, everyone, is I'll go on a search, and I advise you do this too from time to time. Go to the keyword search, find people that are of the same mind as you by looking for keywords that you're interested in, and connect with those people in an organic way. And that's what I've been doing in order to have people here on the show for the BPS Spotlight. And so, yes, Miss Mouthpiece, I can't wait until we hang out with you. And this is our first opportunity. I have seen you hang out in the audience before, so I'm so glad you decided to pop up and what you just shared, because that was so powerful. OMG.
Thank you so much. I love this platform. I'm excited about, opportunities and spaces that are created for creators.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And like-minded people. One thing I also, that caught my attention is that, we all have a journey. And in this journey, this goes back to what you were talking about earlier. In this journey, you're either a person that's effective or you're a person that's in the way. And I love that, I was chosen to be effective. And so it's not about me. And I actually, I posted that yesterday. I was like, it's not just about me and about what I want. So, there's times where I'm like, I don't have time to be doing this and doing that. But yeah, I do have time. Listen, somebody needs my story.
Yes. I love that. And you have time because it's you first. It's this concept we talk about being selfful. And everybody on that tip, I wanna open this up and let's say good morning, a huge good morning to the good brother Eric Harrison. I don't even think Miss Mouthpiece, I don't know if you met Eric. I don't know if Eric, I like to introduce people to the fam. And so let's say good morning to Eric Harrison. And I also want to say good morning to Seven. Thanks so much for hanging out. And of course, our good friend Coco Lorraine Vera, my BF to the triple quadruple F. Let's get it. Brother Eric, good morning, broski. How you feeling? He might be taking over the world from behind that Zoom meeting. Or Brother Eric. And so as we wait on Brother Eric, I'm also going to say hello to Sanahara. And yeah, we're going to keep this thing going. Eric, if you're here, you're able to jump back in, by all means. I'll come back to you, broski. And yeah, this is fun. So we talk about emotional intelligence in a number of different ways. And the last thing that we're talking about here is generosity. So question on the table, what is generosity to you? How do you think about this? Had you ever heard of the 3 mindsets of generosity, and that there are 1 that is beneficial and 2 that's not beneficial? Because there are many scenarios in our world where people are giving out of obligation or fear, and we're actually okay with it and don't recognize that it's unhealthy. So just some thoughts. I'm open. Let's open up the conversation if there's anybody who'd like to chime in. And again, if you're in the audience, you want to come to the stage, by all means. And if not, I have no problem hearing myself talk. Let's give enough. Much love to the family. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad Miss Mouthpiece jumped on stage and dropped that, because I think it's important. And I love the way that the conversation is going.
Yes.
You have to be able to give from a place of where you have overflow and reserve, right? Mm-hmm. And even when you were talking about just in church, I had a similar experience where one day I was just sitting there and I'm like, I'm a single mom. I'm trying to keep all the balls in the air and make ends meet. And I'm giving to the detriment of myself because I think this is what the pastor is saying that I have to do.
Right.
But he or she's not going home worried about whether the lights are going to stay on or if you're going to be able to pay for a daycare and all of those things.
Right.
And I started realizing, why God, in the form that I understand God to be, never let me down whether I gave a dime or not. It may not have been the way I wanted to be, but I never was hungry or homeless or any of those things. It may have been tight, but I was never without. I was always okay. So I really shifted in my whole belief around giving.
Yeah.
And not just from a church perspective.
For sure. 100%. Giving.
That's so beautiful.
Go ahead, Ms. Mom. Yeah, go ahead. Wow.
No, I can relate to that. I love, her story because I remember being, a young mother, going through divorce, and I was committed and I was starting life all over again. And I remember I had to go to choir rehearsal, and I lived across town. I would never forget this day. I had no gas, and I was like, wow. I'm trying to get to a place of refuge. And when I got there, I had mentioned, hey, I don't have any gas, so I don't know if I'm going to make it to. And there was no space for me to be feeling like it was a place of refuge.
Right.
And so what that did for me was that brought an insecurity of how I looked at people. Because my focus was on people and not on kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Because kingdom gives you wisdom. People give you pressure. I had to learn the difference between pressure makes you feel like you have to make an unwise decision of give your last, and you don't know how you're going to make it to the next week. Wisdom can tell you to take half of that and share it and watch me multiply. So it's just like, it's so many ways and perspectives of how you look at giving, but your heart of being kind and doing it from a place of not feeling like I'm only doing this because I want something in return. That, that's even in relationships. We can go from every level of it in relationships. When you think about being kind and generous, sometimes people are doing that in the beginning because it's because it's the face of it. But later on, when the thick of it, right? People say, "Hey, well, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that." Well, that's what you started. And my grandmother was, used to say, "Hey, if you start something, you should finish it," right? So people's their motives of being generous in relationships, that's based on just getting something that you want as well. This doesn't mean it's always in a negative way, but it's just things to think about. That sometimes even when you're giving, when you're like, because I know that sometimes, when we talk about the lack of self-esteem, you're doing all this stuff, you're cooking, you're doing all this stuff, and you're only doing it because you're trying to get something. You're trying to have someone choose you based on things, but not because of your heart, and not because of who you are, the essence of who you are.
Right, that outside validation. I absolutely love that. I love that. Also, Brother Eric, you with us? I wanted to say hello to you and see if you had any thoughts, broski.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. I just really have just been listening.
Yes.
And I really appreciate the conversation, especially around the giving piece, because I know we talked about the church piece, but that's just a life thing. I think we really, we have all our nuances and the different things that we have that come into our lives as we grow up. And sometimes, no matter where that we may have perceived that there is a deficit, we always think that we have to give to try to make up for that. You know what I mean? Or try to have a relationship to make up for that, or have a thing to make up for that. What we considered lack.
Right.
But in all actuality, it really isn't that. So the conversation has been really, really rich. I appreciate that.
I love that, fam.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes.
By the way, I've definitely been there and done that. Probably yesterday, but anyway. Yesterday.
Right.
So funny. So anyway, it's very familiar to me.
Yes. Let me also introduce something else into the equation too. Generosity. Once again, it's an important thing. It's a good thing. Except for you have to use wisdom in order to understand. Here's why, and I know you all can relate to this. One of the worst things to do, and it's why I started it with the brother Angelo Tudabber, who was in here a few ago. One of the worst things to do is for you to give to the point where it makes you resentful. Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because when you do that, you have a double whammy, giving. And this is, again, why I even just looked at this more closely in different aspects of my life, because what I realized was I didn't want to pollute this pure concept of giving from the perspective of an intentional and a pure heart with anything in life. And I realized that one of the worst things we do at times is give to the point where we are resentful, and that is very unhealthy. Let's talk about it. Go ahead. I'm gonna let someone else chime in. Maria.
Wow, I just walked into another powerful conversation.
Yes.
Wow, that is so key what you just said. I know for myself as a woman, I was raised in my culture to be sacrificial, to that, you know, to be a good wife or to be a good mother, I had to give everything of myself over to my children and now my former husband.
Yeah.
And in my journey, have really, really learned to ask myself. So when someone makes a request of me or they want me to be part of something, I'm always asking myself, is this aligned with my soul?
Yeah.
Is this aligned with the purpose that I in the mission that I'm on right now? And is it something that I am choosing to do fully?
Yeah.
That later on I will not be resentful about. So that is actually a question I ask myself, because I know that when I quickly just say yes to things,
yes,
and I don't check in with myself, I do end up resenting the time spent on something or resenting the person,
right?
Because I'm using up all my energy. And then, it just leaves me in a space of feeling empty, feeling upset or frustrated. Yeah. And it doesn't honor the other person for me not to have been honest.
At all.
It just creates this energy between me and the other person.
Yes.
And it can leave someone feeling upset as well, because when we're resentful, I know for myself, when I am resentful, I'm very quick to get angry or snap at someone.
Yes.
Or something small that comes up, I make it into something big.
Yes.
So it just not an energy that serves me and the other person. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it is a very powerful and important thing to check in with ourselves before we say yes to anything in life.
Yeah, and let me tell you another reason I really appreciate what you're saying, because this is the thing that it took me to. It's like, and you said it eloquently, when you aren't mindful in this way, then you're not helping anyone, and you're not helping yourself, you're not helping the other person. And I'll take it a step further. You can't blame at that point the other person for this experience, because you have a choice, right? Yeah. You can't blame the other person for the experience that you're having. And so that's what it comes up for me. Now, I have something that I read to you all before, and it's called Burnout versus Compassion. I'm going to read it again, but before I do, I want to open it up to if there's anybody else that this sparks any thoughts for, as far as this idea of giving to the point where you are causing your own resentment, and just not tending to the situation in a way needed to help you or the other party. Yeah, it's a very powerful thing. All right, so if that's the case, no one has anything, I'll end with this. And then after this, we'll wrap up this experience. And I thank you all so much for hanging out. Oh, Maria, remember when I introduced you a few weeks ago to the concept of street epistemology?
Yes.
So Anthony Magnabosco, the person who was the creator of it, he was here. He hung out with us here for like the last 20 or 30 minutes in this experience. Yeah, so it was cool. I had actually reached out to him because I told him that I was interested in hosting a show here on Clubhouse, and if he would co-host. And he told me he was unavailable because of his schedule, but that he would love to stop by and check out the show, and then also jump up on stage and talk from time to time. So that was super exciting. And for those that don't know, Anthony Magnabosco just happens to be someone who I really, really appreciate out there in the world. He created this concept called street epistemology. It's become a really big thing, and check it out if you get a chance. So I thought that was really cool, and the serendipity. So this is what I want to close on: burnout versus compassion. Compassion is sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings and or the misfortune of others. Sympathetic consciousness of others' distress, together with a desire to alleviate it. That's what compassion is. Here's burnout. And this is what you were mentioning, Maria. Feeling overwhelmed, depleted, exhausted, undone, overcome, broken, etc. by someone else's difficulties in our desire to help or fix the situation. Compassion requires the balance of equanimity to acknowledge the suffering or pain of others and be open to helping while knowing that you can't solve every problem for everyone, fix the world, or force others to make different decisions. That's why I always say be a happy seed planter and not a stressed out gardener. Extending compassion to the point of your own inconvenience is unhealthy and detrimental, not only to yourself, but also those who you are trying to assist. Have compassion and empathy, but not at the expense of your own mental or physical well-being, sanity, capacity, or health, because you're not helping anyone if you do that. And last but not least, practice focusing on a difficult person and mentally extending phrases of loving kindness towards them. This will help you to develop compassion without being triggered, facing burnout, or putting yourself in harm's way to help them. And I did a whole video on that topic that I'm actually resharing on my Facebook page right now. And my Facebook page is at Aaron Hill TV, at Aaron Hill TV. And I'm just going to say, don't burn yourself out while having compassion. And so check that out when you get a chance to listen to the whole video where I dive into it more, and drop a line on the video if you like, because I think you would enjoy it. So yeah, on that tip, we're getting ready to tie a bow on this. If there's anyone that wanted to say anything, then by all means, for sure. And then I'm going to have just a few last thoughts as we go about our way today. This beautiful Monday.
I did just want to say thank you again.
Yes.
It's always a good vibe. And also just pointing out another moment of serendipity. This is like the second time the Socratic method has come up for me this week. And I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about it. And then I have this weird thing where like every week there's like a theme that comes up and then it doubles down again. It's like I'm living in a sitcom. So it was cool to like hear you dive into it and be like, oh shit, okay, it's back. This is the other half of the episode.
Yes, sir. Oh man. Yo, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome, man. And thank you so much for sharing that, bro. Because wow, moment of serendipity, intention, and synchronicity. Golly, this is why I love this. Whew, anybody else? Brother Eric, it's so good, man, to see you, to hear your voice. Maria, as always, it is such a pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. I just want to say something real quick. I had my yesterday I had one of my first rooms in my EYP Freedom 365 club.
Nice. Congrats. Congrats, bro.
I was trying my best to get my inner AA ride on to the best of my ability. Still got some tweaks to make, and I got some very powerful people there. But Sister Coco came through, Ken came through, and that conversation is powerful. And now that room will be going on and happening at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. So it's a regular thing now.
Powerful, fam. Powerful.
So, Proud Pappy stretched that long arm towards us, open the back.
Man.
And there's some powerful conversations going on in there. So please pop in. Please pop in. We got some serious stuff going on. And man, I got some powerful people with me. So we plotting and planning. Man. So it's dope.
I love that, bro. Oh my goodness. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I love just all the success that you're having here on the platform, man. And it's just such an honor to be with people along their journeys as they build those blocks one brick at a time. And like you always say, to even be a part of it. Like I told somebody this yesterday, I was like, it's so funny because I'm so addicted to helping people, so addicted to giving people compliments and making people feel good and just doing whatever I can that I will literally do something in trying to help someone, and 5 seconds later forget that I did it and be excited. Like, that's amazing. How did it happen? Because I'm off to the next, like, how can I give? How can I give? How can I give? How can I give? So I just want to say, man, I'm just excited about your journey. I'm excited about the fact that I've gotten a chance to be a part of it this far, and that we just all continue to go on just the journey together, doing amazing things together.
Yeah, and I just hope the family can join too, because
I think I lost you, Eric.
Oh, I said it's a mature conversation.
Right.
It's a very mature conversation, so I want the family to be there. So that's why I made that announcement to family.
No doubt.
I need y'all there, for real. And to have my back if somebody get out of pocket. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes. You said Sundays, did you say 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Yep, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody's here is going to get an invite to the club, too.
Love it.
It's the EYP Freedom 365 Club.
Right.
Show.
Oh, perfect.
Invites are coming.
In fact, I'm gonna look through my notifications now, and for anybody,
I thought I invited you already. If I did, bro, please, man. Anyway, I've been doing so much. But anyway, go ahead, man.
Oh, you good? You good, bro? Yeah, I did see it. In fact, and like, because you can imagine, like, there were like 200,000 club requests came through. But I'm glad you reminded me, so that I could go back and make sure I join your clubs. And for everybody else, also, if you don't know this, hit the, if you go to a person's profile, like if you go to Eric's profile and next to following, you not only turn the notifications button on, but hold it down and hit it to always. So that way, when you do have your notifications on, you'll see it. That way you can remember it, and then you can add it to your calendar and all these kind of good things. But thank you, bro. And thank you for sharing that. All right, everybody. Oh, we also want to say a huge, huge morning to Eileen. Thank you so much, Eileen, for stopping by. I hope that you have been enjoying this experience in these few minutes that you've been here. And hope that you're having a good experience on Clubhouse in general. And so, yeah, on that tip, if there's anybody else who wants to come to the stage just to say hello, I would love to hear your beautiful voice and say hi to your beautiful face. And if not, we're going to go ahead and close out the place in a few. Got Sanahara Amachandra. Good morning.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. Yes, yes.
Grand Rising.
Good morning, beautiful soul.
Greetings.
Morning.
Yes. I know y'all getting ready to close, but I wanted to jump up here real quick because, jump up, to get lifted up higher. That's what I'm doing, because ain't nobody beating me down.
Right. In fact, speaking of, I'm sorry, you made me think of when you said higher. Eric, your club is EYP Higher Learning, right? I love that.
Actually, I have two. One is higher learning, and that's more the business side of things, and then the other one is Freedom 365.
Right.
So, dealing with the things in your life, the mental, that type of thing.
Love that. Higher. So, yeah, you made me think about elevating higher. When you mentioned that, elevating higher, you're right. We are elevating higher and higher and higher together. Oh my goodness.
Sister Sanahara, I think I invited you too. I need you in there. Just man, that vibration.
I appreciate
that. Yeah. And Edify, you better be there too, because I see you down there. See your girl down there.
Hey, Edify. Oh my goodness. How are you? We are here. We're elevating. OMG. I'm glad you jumped up here, especially before we close out the room, because, we just been elevating. Golly.
Yes. I did get my application in for
Yay. Yes.
So we'll see how that goes, but I did get that in. And it's exciting because I'm enjoying the exercise of this creative thought that through applying for these opportunities make me initiate.
Right.
So I did do that. Moving through, I got to the beach yesterday. I felt out, the sunshine and the ocean. I had a chance to connect with some beautiful souls. Maria and I, we were all talking about HD. Human design. That was great. And I had this beautiful witnessing. One of my dear sisters from college, we back in the day when we was young.
Not a kid anymore.
Yo, she and I were building it. We were reminding, I was reminding her, I got expelled after that revolution because we started a revolution here.
Wow.
I had to get reinstated back into my college to graduate. It was crazy. And we were remembering all of this stuff. And a part of that memory was we activated. She was we were powerful. I had no clue how powerful we were. We were just stumbling around being, 20-something.
Right, just being yourselves. Right.
And so when she told me that, we had this wonderful moment of being in the water. And I was singing praises to the ocean. And these little girls gathered all around me. And next thing you know, I'm holding court with a circle of the most beautiful little children. It was so magical. I was that's what she was reminding me of. That I can do that when I'm in my just being. People will show up. So that was great. Glad to share.
That's amazing. Wow. And then to do all that on the beach, one of the most freeing places. Amazing. I love that. And yeah. If there's anybody else who wants to come to the stage, say hello by all means. And if not, all good. I'm glad you mentioned what you just mentioned, Alma, because once again, before we close out the room, one of the biggest highlights for this past week, again, first highlight was that I was jumping up and down about is that the Women Matter Club was highlighted as far as the very first announcement with the Clubhouse Town Hall recap. And I'm excited about that because that's a group of amazing women doing amazing things. And one of the ones that is a part of that group and now has been moved to a place where she's more so in the higher ranks, more so a part of the top of sort of organizing and leadership is LT. And even though they didn't mention anybody by name, but I was like, oh my gosh, because this was right at the time where LT just mentioned on Friday that they just nominated her to be one of the to be either the leader of the club or one of the top leaders. And so they highlighted them. So I know it's about to be some amazing things happening for LT with regards to the Women Matter Club. So that was exciting. Yes. And then the second thing was that now the Creator First program is out. And so what that is a grant program that Clubhouse is working with creators in order to help us with our shows and to back us and support us and just help with traffic and everything. They're supporting creators. So they're taking submissions now, and you can apply at creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. creatorfirst.joinclubhouse.com. And the incentives are that this is a 3-month program where on the monetary side, you'll get $5,000 a month from Clubhouse towards your life and towards your program. And then in addition to that, they are going to work hand in hand with you to help you with your show or with your series or what have you, to continue to develop it, to bring more awareness to it, to even help you with bringing other influential speakers to speak on your stage and that kind of thing, and just the whole nine. I'm excited about it. I got a chance to be a part of the first 100 submissions. So I was happy about that because fingers crossed. They've been saying that they love morning shows. They love radio shows. So I'm hoping that they see the value in this. And I'm hoping that, we get the opportunity. That would be amazing. And the one thing I want to tell you is that if you submit, you do have to have a 3-minute audio file of your show. So that's the one thing why I think I was able to even get in under that 100, because not everybody records their shows. So if that's you, then, you might want to think about it next time you're doing your room, go on and recording some of it or what have you, and, put in your description and making it known, that kind of thing. Number one, for your own documentation, because for many of us, this is a part of our podcast series. It is a part of our radio series. It is a part of who we are as regular content creators on these platforms. But I just wanted to let you know, to give you a heads up with that. And so on that tip, I guess we're going to say our last goodbyes and we're going to get on out of here. So much love. Edify. Hope you're doing well over there, taking over the world behind the Sweet Potato Empire and the Fly Fashion. It's good to see you as always, Edify. Coco, you already know. Hope that you're having a great day so far. To Maria, to Meyer, to Eric, Sanahata, much love, everyone. Look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Hope you have a great day. Let's open up our microphones and let's affirm each other on a great day. Take care, Maria. As always, good to see you. Take care.
Hey, everyone.
Yes.
Have a great day. Beautiful.
Blessings.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Amazing way to start the week.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Love you too. Much love. All right.
Aaron, you don't have to record your sound. You can record it right at that time, which is what I did.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
You can record it. You can record something right at that moment, but you don't have to send your show if you don't have it.
Oh, man. I thank you for saying that. Oh, man. Okay, so I have to let everybody know that tomorrow again, too. So that's great. Wow, that is perfect. That is perfect.